Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Jack Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And it's another special episode, Jack.
It is indeed.
Why is it so special?
Because we've been joined by Amanda.
Yay!
Hello!
Woo!
So, here's a fun fact. Amanda, you're the first guest to return on, like, what I class the main show.
Really? Kat hasn't?
Yeah, no, she's a bit upset about that.
Liam is annoying Kat by not including our special episodes in this, because I think Kat is the guest we've had on the most,
'Cause she's-
but only if you count the specials,
Which I don't.
because Liam's an arsehole.
But if
Well.
okay, but if you count the specials, has she been on what, 3 or 4?
I think 3. I don't know. I don't count the specials. I only count the main show.
I'm sorry, Kat.
I mean, no, don't apologise. That wasn't a, like, you know, you're wrong for doing that. It's more of a, that's how much we enjoy speaking to you.
Well, thank you.
Oh, right. This episode, we're going to be
Yeah, that's your job, Liam, remember?
Yeah. We're going to be talking about the Gilmore Girls Season 1.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I am as well,
Yeah.
actually. But before we get to that, it's time for catching up with Jack and Liam and Amanda. Catch me up on your guys' lives.
Which one of us, Liam? That's the most unhelpful thing to do on a podcast with 3 people on it, Liam, is to just generally ask everyone.
Well, I guess you're going first now.
I didn't want to, because I don't have anything.
Really?
I don't think I've done anything for 2 weeks, Liam.
I think you had a birthday party.
I don't know if that counts. I did.
How does that not count?
Because it wasn't like a big thing, Liam. It was a small gathering of about 7 people, and we had a barbecue.
And how does that not count?
I mean, I guess the interesting part is that even though I am 26, it was my 25th birthday party.
Wait.
Because I didn't have one last year, and my friends were annoyed that I didn't do one.
So you had a 25th birthday party over a year after you turned 25.
Yeah.
What did you do for your 26th birthday?
I haven't done that one yet. I'm going to do it next year, I think.
What are you going to do for it?
Barbecue, mate.
Brilliant.
I mean, it kind of sounds like my husband has decided that he's perpetually turning 25.
Oh, that's smart.
So, yeah, it's now this whole joke with friends and family. We're like, how old are you, Jeremy? Wait, how many years have you been 25 now?
I might copy
Maybe.
that. Because I've got a real bad one coming up this year that I would prefer if it was just 25.
Oh, you just have to embrace 30.
I don't want to.
It's so nice. You're done with all the shit from your 20s.
Nah, I like all that. I miss going out clubbing and dancing. I have no one to go dancing with.
We stopped doing that years ago.
I know, and that was not my choice.
No, it isn't. That's true.
That's your choice.
Yeah, I hate clubbing.
Yeah, so now who do I go with? Oh, no one. I can't
You could go by yourself.
No, I couldn't go by myself.
I mean, you could. You'd be kind of creepy, but you could.
Exactly. I don't want to be the creepy one. Also, like, dancing by yourself isn't as fun as dancing with someone who clearly doesn't want to be there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah? Does that make it better?
It does. It makes it so much more enjoyable for me. I also hear, Jack, on the grapevine, that you'd had some karaoke.
Yeah, there was some karaoke. My dad has a karaoke machine.
Here's
which
what
he
I
busted
don't
out.
get, okay? Like,
Go on.
This morning, you messaged me all excited, like, oh, you can't believe what I did this weekend. Like, we had karaoke.
I did not.
You can't believe.
What are you
won't
talking
believe
about?
the song we did. We nailed it, 100%.
Oh yeah, I was
5
excited about
stars.
that.
Yeah, and now like on the podcast we're recording, you're trying to play it all off like casual and cool.
The
Like,
thing is,
yeah,
no.
whatever.
The mistake you're making, Liam, is you're thinking that I'm trying to play it off as all casual and cool, when in reality, I forget all these things the moment, like, I'm like a fish. I message you that because my brain goes, oh yeah, tell Liam about the fact that you sung You're Welcome at karaoke,
Yeah.
and then the moment I tell you that, my brain goes, cool, we don't need to remember that anymore.
You're like
Wait.
the sort of fish I used to have in my garden that just won't die.
Yeah.
You sang You're Welcome from Moana?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Including
It was so
the rap.
good.
Ooh.
Me and my friend Frankie pretty much just nailed the entire song. If I remember correctly, people were in tears. They were cheering.
I can imagine the tears, not the cheering.
Is that your go-to karaoke song, Jack?
No, my go-to karaoke... The worrying thing is I have done karaoke once, like, out in the world. but I have done karaoke probably, tens of maybe up to 50 times, because my dad loves karaoke so much that anytime he has a party, he brings out his karaoke. So my karaoke song that I sing the most is Taylor Swift's Shake It Off.
Oh, I think that you should probably record this and put it on your guys' YouTube channel.
We could do
I
that.
don't think anyone needs that in their life.
I mean, I'm still waiting for you to dress up as Wonder Woman, so what if you dress up as Wonder Woman and sing Shake It Off?
What was the... didn't I set like a goal for that to happen?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter that the goal didn't happen.
Yeah.
I
It
tried
was for
to
the
help.
video to get 100 likes, and then we've had to take all our videos down because YouTube's a
Oh, yeah,
butthole.
that's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
how are you guys getting that sorted out yet? I was very sad to hear about that on the most recent episode.
We're Jack's coming to visit this weekend, and we're going to kind of try and figure out a workaround. So
It'll be
yeah,
interesting, Amanda. Let's just say that.
Keep your eyes peeled for our YouTube resurgence, maybe.
Like the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yeah. Oh dear. So yeah, is that all you've done then? Just you had a party and some karaoke and nothing else?
I don't think so, Liam. What have you been up to, Liam?
Did some dog sitting this weekend.
Oh yeah, how did that go? Are your allergies all right?
I took loads of Claritin, so that was not an issue. Dog was really like clingy. He's been a bit poorly lately. He had all these lumps appear.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's old. He's like, I think 8 years old or something now, or nearly 8 or 8. No, he's 8. So he's getting a bit bumpy, and then my mum had to get, I think, 10 lumps removed and then have them all like biopsied. None of them were cancerous, which is good. They're just like growths and stuff.
My dog gets those. They're just little bumps on his body that aren't cancerous.
Yeah, he had a really big one on his chest that burst and was all crusty and gross.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it looks like a bit of a patchwork at the moment where they've shaved him to take all these lumps out.
Oh.
Got you.
So he was feeling a bit sorry for himself, and my mum and
then you turned up, and he felt so amazing.
It's right. Here's the thing, okay? I read that dogs like it when you talk to them because apparently hearing your voice is meant to be soothing for them or some shit.
Oh God, how much did you talk to Bailey?
I was telling him a story, okay, and then I took a picture of him, and he just looks so pissed off at me talking to him that I stopped. I'm gonna send it to you, Jack. I'd send it to you as well, Amanda, but I don't know how to. But just as evident, maybe I'll put it on Twitter at some point when this episode goes live. Tweet me
like
to remind me if I haven't done it. But yeah, this is the I'll send it to Jack. This is the picture I took while I was telling Bailey a story that I was making up on the spot.
I wouldn't call that pissed off. He just looks more depressed.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he wants me to continue.
No, definitely, yeah. That is definitely a please stop talking to me face.
Yeah. So like, I can't believe my life has led me to this point.
To be fair, though, to Bailey, I imagine that if I was, feeling a little bit ill, a bit under the weather, right, and then you rocked up, that'd just piss me right off. I'd be like, fuck's sake.
No, he likes me. He was really clingy. I was trying to watch a horror movie because it's Halloween. Well, it's not Halloween. It's October, which is Halloween season, so I'm trying to watch lots of horror movies. And I was watching this one on Netflix that was terrible, but it didn't help that the dog was just snoring through all of the like quiet atmosphere bits. So yeah, right, dog sitting. I've spoken about that. Tick. Halloween fun. I'm watching lots of horror movies. Tick. I did Cannibal Holocaust recently, and in previous times when I've watched that, all of the real life animal killings, I was like, it's unpleasant, but it didn't like get to me. Whereas this time when I watched it, I was like, oh no, this is horrible. Why are they doing that?
Yeah, I refuse to watch that film because I can't watch animals be killed.
Yeah, you'd hate it.
Yeah, I know. I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah. It's really like the film itself is really good if you kind of try and ignore the animal killings. Like what the film is doing is really interesting. It's like one of the first examples of using found footage.
Yeah,
it's just it is that like it's getting over the whole animal killing thing where it's just like what it's such a shame that that's in there.
Yeah, it's such a weird... I get why they did it, like, in a sort of... Clearly someone was like, well, how do we make it look real? We do it.
Yeah,
but
and it also,
so
like, it does serve a purpose in that by doing it, you are highlighting the fact that these characters that you're watching are kind of terrible.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I was bad enough in the first Friday the 13th film where they cut off the head of the snake, and then I think I remember asking you and being like, Liam, was that real? Because that seemed very real.
Yeah,
and you being like, yeah, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually hurt a snake?
Yeah, it's horrible.
They cut it in half.
Oh.
It's not nice. I don't know why. There's like a period of time where people were just like, oh yeah, it doesn't. Like, I guess that's why they now have to say, you know, no animals were hurt in the making of this film, because in the past we did.
Yeah, exactly. I joined the future as well.
What did you do, Liam?
I got my very first digital movie.
Oh, sorry. So when you say joined the future, you mean joined the early 2000s?
Yeah.
Cool. What's that like?
It was so okay. It was the original Flatliners because I wanted to go see the new one. More about that later. Oh, teasers. And it was good price. It was I think $3.99 for it, like a HD on Amazon, and it was just so easy. Like I bought it and then I just watched it. I don't have like a DVD now to add to the list, although I would have removed it because I watched it. But I also don't have a DVD to try and find like room on a shelf for.
Yeah.
And I feel like $3.99 is a good price for a movie.
Yeah, the price of online films is pretty decent.
Now I've seen others where they're like $7.99, $8.99, and
No,
that's too
but
rich
see,
for me.
what I've been doing, Liam, is I rent them on Amazon because I'm not like you. I don't particularly go back and watch films that, especially like something that I like, I'll obviously watch again, so I'll buy it properly.
Yeah.
But for catching up with, for culture swap stuff, if it's on Amazon to rent, I rent it for like $1.99. It's awesome.
Nah, I'm not
So
that bad.
you
I need to buy it.
you'd never even rented a movie digitally before?
Nah.
Oh, wow. Because, like,
Yeah.
I prefer to own, like, the physical copy if I want to own it, but especially, like, if I'm guesting on another podcast or if I'm doing an older movie for mine,
Yeah.
first I try to get it from, like, Netflix or the library, but if I can't find it, I'll rent it on Amazon for $2.99 or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I
easy.
can't-
This is
yeah.
why Liam's got such a high number, Amanda.
I mean, because sometimes there are movies I don't want to own. Like, I recently guested on Original Remake, and we talked about the 90s version of The Scarlet Letter, which is a horrible movie. So, yeah, I rented that. I was not going to purchase that movie.
See, that's interesting because one of the things I've been thinking about lately is kind of culling my film collection. So it's more representative of, instead of it being like everything I've ever watched ever, it's more just like, oh, these are the movies that I really like and appreciate, or that I can see me going back to.
Yeah. That's what it should be, right?
I guess. I don't know. This is quite a new, exciting revelation for me to kind of come to this point. So,
I mean, I worked in a movie department, and I typically only bought movies that I had already seen and liked, or that I knew were classics, and I would like.
yeah, I'm getting there. All right, it's small steps to a larger end goal.
It's fascinating watching my nearly 30-year-old friend sort of have these learning experiences that he should have had at the age of sort of 18.
Yeah. The thing is, if we could get Filmstruck in the UK, it would, one, make me really happy, but two, I would probably stop having to spend a ridiculous amount of money importing fucking Criterions.
Yeah, I really want to get Filmstruck, but I can't justify another streaming expense right now.
That's the problem. It does add up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, when I start making more than, like, $5 on my podcast, then maybe I will do Filmstruck, but...
I mean, that's like $5 more than what we make.
I started a merch shop, so...
I keep saying to Jack that we should do that, and he's being a little pissy bitch about it.
Yeah, but Amanda's a popular podcast.
We might be one day.
Amanda would probably buy one of our t-shirts out of sympathy, and that'd be it.
Not out of sympathy, but I would totally buy one.
And there we go. That's $5 sorted. That's what we should do, right? We'll just get loads of guests on, and then when they're on, we'll put them on the spot and be like, "You'd buy our merch, wouldn't you?" That's genius.
Yeah, maybe Liam.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Okay. Also, my chair's really broken.
Oh, okay. What's that got to do with anything?
It's my catching up with.
Oh my god.
Is this
What's
the
happened to your chair, Liam?
It's a couple of weeks ago. One of the arms fell off because I was like like leaning on it to kind of hoist myself up in the chair, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like picture an old man trying to get out of a sofa sort of thing.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And I was just on one arm, and the arm just completely snapped off. I was like, oh no, I need.
I bet that was hilarious.
It hurt.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I need to buy a new chair. So we went out to Staples. I bought a new chair. I built it. I hated it, so I gave it to Kat because she needed one for her little office. And then this week, I was hoisting myself up on the other arm, and it snapped off.
I like that you didn't learn from the first time.
The thing is, I've been doing this like ever since having the chair, which I've had for years now. So it's just habit.
Is this the chair that you're currently sitting in?
Yeah.
So is there a chance that you could fall out of it at any moment?
No, because I'm smart enough now to use the base of the chair for hoisting myself up.
What if the base falls off?
Then I will no longer have a chair. And
I mean,
probably
it's
a very
starting to sound
sore
like you
arse.
don't really have a chair. If two things are broken on it...
I mean, it still
I don't know.
functions as a chair.
Yeah, but if you were already at the point where you're like, I need a new chair, this one's broken, and then more of it has broken, I feel like at this point you're sitting on garbage.
Yeah, I need, like, a good chair. The thing is, the one that I built and then now Kat has, it kept feeling like it was trying to push me off of it.
Yeah, sorry, that is a good point. We did move on from that stupid sentence very quickly. What's wrong with this new chair? It tried to push you off it.
Yeah, and I tried to, like, fix that so it would stop, and it just wouldn't. So I was like, fuck it, Kat, you can have this.
Did you just have did you not adjust the seat properly?
No, I tried, and it wouldn't, like, keep the adjustment. It kept resetting.
When I come up this weekend, I'm going to ask Kat if she's fixed that chair, because she will have. She'll have figured out exactly what you were doing wrong, and the chair will be
Does
great.
she feel like it's pushing her out of the chair?
I don't know. I didn't ask. It's just like, you need a chair, have this one, I don't want it.
So you may have given Kat a faulty chair.
I'm sure if there were problems with it, she'd have given it back.
Fair enough.
But so yeah, I need a new chair, one that isn't shit, and I don't know where to get one of those from. Because my current one's like really expensive on Amazon now, so I can't just like replace it.
Just go to like a shop. There are shops
I went
that
to
sell
a Staples
chairs,
and
then go and sit on them.
I did.
Go
Their
to one that
selection
has
was
them
terrible.
out and sit on them.
The selection was terrible.
Fine. I don't know.
That's-
I don't think we can help you in this, Liam.
No, a lot of my problems are like that.
Yeah, they are.
And that's it for catching up with Liam. Amanda, how's your week, or however long since we last spoke to you, been?
Yeah, let's see. Well, this weekend I went to a bachelorette party, a funeral, and a birthday party.
That's kind of covering all your bases there.
It really was.
Yeah.
Right,
that's-
did the bachelorette party have lots of penises?
It did not.
Is it a bachelorette party then?
Well, it was. I'm maid of honor in a wedding this coming weekend, and so it was the bachelorette party for that. But it was at lunch because I had to go to a funeral in the evening. So
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
And I guess the penis theme would have felt a little bit inappropriate.
Yeah, a little inappropriate at like 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
In broad daylight. Yeah. We went to a place called The Pub though, which is supposed to be like British fare, like British food.
Oh, okay. What did they sell?
Let's see. They sell Scotch eggs and bangers and mash and other things like that.
Did they have Toad in the Hole?
I don't know if they do. I'll admit, I always get the same thing there. So I went straight for, it's like a cheeseburger with beer cheese on it.
And what do they call that?
Is that English? Is it just because it's got beer as well? Is
Probably.
beer cheese? Do Americans think that we just eat beer cheese?
No, because I've been to Scotland and been to real pubs. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's called, I'm going to see if I can look up their menu online, but I think it was called the Bellhaven.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is. Is that like a reference to something English? Should I know what that is?
I have no idea. I think they're trying to make it super British, but I don't think it truly is. Like, okay, so for an example, like all of the servers, they all wear kilts, and all of the women wear very short kilts, and all of the men wear very long, like down to like midway through their calf kilts.
Yeah, do women traditionally wear kilts in Scotland?
No.
Yeah, no, that seems weird. I found a place called Belhaven. If it is themed on this, it seems like a very tiny village with a bay and a country park. Sorry, 2 bays. I'm very confused. It's very small, and it's right next to a much bigger place called Dunbar, which seems like a much better place to name it after.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, it's called the Belhaven, and it's because it has Belhaven beer cheese, so maybe that's the name of the beer. I don't drink beer, so I'm bad at that. Okay, let's see. They also serve shepherd's pie.
There's a Belhaven brewery.
Yeah, I just saw that as well.
In Scotland.
So maybe that is a thing that we should know, Liam.
I don't know. Should we?
I don't know. Shepherd's pie is quite British.
I like shepherd's pie.
Yeah, they have shepherd's pie. They serve... I know. They serve cheese, quote-unquote, bollocks, which is just fried mozzarella and provolone cheese mixed together.
Is that because we say bollocks?
I think that's where they're getting their British theme with it.
I mean, to be fair, I'm sort of ripping into this place, and in reality, I imagine if an American came and sat in one of our American diners, they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
I do know, like, I've been there with my birth father once, and he got the bangers and mash, and he loved it and said it was, like, the most authentic bangers and mash he'd had outside of the UK, because he lived in England for 2.5 years when he was a kid.
Oh, fair enough. So I should leave this place alone, but maybe they're doing well, and I'm just a dick.
Look, I think...
I'm not a big fan of sausages.
Thanks for that, Liam.
So yeah, and then we just hung out and, ate and chatted. So that was the bachelorette party. The funeral, well, it was a funeral. They suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Lots of people in black.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be expected.
Yeah, and then we had a family birthday party last night for my mom, whose birthday is today when we are recording, and my husband, whose birthday was almost a month ago. But when they were having the family birthday party for him, I had the flu, so we weren't there.
Okay, so they sort of gave you a second chance at going to it.
Yes.
There you go, that's nice.
Was that fun?
Yeah, that was fun. My family is a little crazy, so it's always entertaining to hang out with them.
Yeah, that comes across on the Culture Popper Go-Go podcast.
Uh-huh. And I cut out, like, the looniest parts.
Fair enough.
The parts where something happens and we're all laughing, and then my mom looks at me and she's like, cut it out. Just cut it out. Like, you can't put that out to public. So, like, that's how family birthday parties are. All things that probably should not be out for the public. But, yeah, it was fun. I got to see my nephews, who are adorable and hilarious. So, that was fun. And they all wanted to sit next to me, even though it wasn't my birthday.
Are you like the cool one, Amanda?
I'm currently the favorite aunt.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
When you say currently, like, what have you done to win their favour?
Well, I try to spend time with them.
Okay.
And when I do spend time with them, I try to actually, like, interact with them and talk with them. And I will let them climb all over me. And I also take them to movies, which they love.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like in the summers, there's a local theater that does a book to film series that's free with your library card. And so I take them to as many of those as I can, and they love doing that. And then whenever they take turns spending the night with me, and so each time one of them comes and spends the night, they get to like pick a movie that's out in theaters that we can go see.
Oh, that is quite cool. Mm-hmm. I think you've earned the coolest aunt award.
Yeah. And then we recently had a Harry Potter marathon at their house. We watched the first 3 movies, and we're doing part 2 next week.
Fair enough.
That sounds good. Although I don't like the third Harry Potter movie.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like the director is kind of like trying to show off a bit too much with it.
Interesting, because I don't like the direction of the first two, and I was so excited when Alfonso Cuarón got tapped to do the third one, because at least he's an interesting director.
Yeah, but I think part of that is then, like, he is usually an interesting director, but I feel like it just didn't quite gel with Harry Potter, where I feel like none of the other movies, even afterwards, had that element to them. Like, everyone else was like, okay, there's a lot of story to tell here. Let's not try and kind of get our fingerprints too much involved. Whereas he was like, nah, fuck it. The Whomping Willow's going to throw snow on the camera. It'll be brilliant. And it took me out of the movie.
Okay. I mean, I can see that with, like, the Whomping Willow stuff and, like, the changing of the seasons.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you could edit the movie, like, edit those parts out, and it would just make it a little bit shorter.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess, like, the third book used to be my favourite, and now I think it's my least favourite.
Interesting.
Because of the film?
No, not because of the film. Like, when I reread the books, I was like, oh, actually, like, one, it has, like, pretty much nothing to do with Voldemort, and two, the whole time travel thing, I just don't really like the way they handled it.
It's still maybe my favorite book. And
Yeah, I think it's up there.
See, my least favourite, back when I first read them, was Order of the Phoenix, and when I reread them, that became my favourite, because I loved how deep it got into the, like, politics side of this, like, magical place, and the kind of, the machinations of how it all worked on a more, like, societal level.
yeah, I remember with Order of the Phoenix, like, being so frustrated because Harry's a punk-ass bitch in that one.
I mean, to be fair, Harry is a punk-ass bitch for most of the book.
From about 3 onwards.
But
I think from 1 onwards, it goes to his head very quickly.
Yeah.
He never goes, actually, I don't deserve 60 points for doing shit all and disobeying all the school rules. And Dumbledore very clearly favouritising him and letting Gryffindor win for some bullshit reason. There's three quarters of that school leave every single book being like, I don't know what happened, but we were winning, and then Gryffindor won.
Well, at least in the first one, everyone's happy because at least someone beat Slytherin. But then, yeah, it quickly goes to Gryffindor's the favorite.
I feel so sorry for Slytherin, because we only ever get confirmation that, like, 3 of their students are dicks. Like,
No, most
Voldemort
of them
used to
joined
be
the
a
Death
student.
Eaters in the last
That's
book.
not true. There's not hundreds of Death Eaters. There's, like, 20.
I'm pretty
So,
sure it says
there's-
that, like, the majority of the Slytherin joined the Death Eaters.
Well, if that's true, Liam, why is there a Slytherin house? This whole school is fucked.
Yeah, you're right, they should get rid of Slytherin House, I agree, it's terrible.
But you're a Slytherin.
I'm like, aren't you Slytherin?
He is, yeah.
I'm not, no, I'm Hufflepuff.
I would love to see you talking to the Sorting Hat, Liam, and just begging with it, being like, put me in Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
And it being like, nah, mate, you're Slytherin.
It would go, you're very loyal, you're very kind, you're very caring, and you should go next to the kitchen. And I'll go, thank you very much.
Did you take the Pottermore quiz?
No.
It's because he's scared that
I
it will
remember
tell
when it
him the
first
truth.
came out, like, so many people were livid that they got put in Hufflepuff.
I was proud of it. I've always accepted being a Hufflepuff.
You're a Slytherin, though,
How am I a Slytherin?
because you're evil.
Right, there we go.
Oh my god.
This is the only podcast on the internet where 2 people can fall out over Harry Potter houses.
No, there's
No, there's
Harry
a lot of
Potter
podcasts.
Yeah, no,
that'll do-
that was a stupid question. I don't know why I said it, guys.
Yeah, well, you're definitely not a Ravenclaw.
No, that's true.
I'm Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I can see that.
The bookishness of it all.
Kat thinks she's Slytherin, which she can be quite vindictive, so yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, Liam.
I'm sorry, Kat. I'm just gonna apologize to Kat periodically throughout
Fair
this
enough.
I feel like
episode.
at some point we should just do an episode which is basically just an apology to Kat.
Oh, not just an apology to our listeners.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. The apology episode.
Yeah.
We're sorry we did this.
Yeah. We're sorry that you've listened to however many hours of us now.
What did you figure out? It's over 4 days in the last episode?
Oh god, yeah, it's got to be. I think we're on episode 51
This is
or 2.
no, this is episode 50. Oh, we should have probably mentioned that. This is that's a big number, isn't it?
Oh, Liam, you just cut out there. Well, I didn't hear what you said.
I said that we should probably mention that this is episode 50, and that's quite a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't. No, don't listen to him, Amanda. He's trying to, for some reason... Right. I don't know why you brought this up, Liam. You knew this would cause an argument.
I didn't.
Liam
I
is
don't know what you're on
fixating
about.
on the number 50 for some reason. I think the more impressive thing is when we get to 52, because that'll be... We've been doing Nerd on Nerd for 2 years.
No, 52 won't be 2 years.
Yeah, but it should. That doesn't make sense. It should be.
Well, it won't be.
We do it twice a week. No,
Yeah.
twice a month.
Yeah. God, imagine
Oh
if
no,
we did
yeah,
it
I keep doing
twice
the
a
maths
week.
wrong. It's
Fucking
58.
hell.
Yeah, all right. I did the maths wrong earlier as well. It's 58. 58
Twice a
2
week.
years.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm broken. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but Amanda, when you do it twice a week, it's delightful. If we tried to do this shit twice a week, imagine catching up with, where it's like, oh, what have you done since 2 days ago?
We struggle with 2 weeks.
Exactly. But yeah, so this is episode 50, which is obviously why we've got Amanda on, because we're making this episode really special.
Did you plan that out, or did it just happen to fall that way?
It was very intrinsically planned. Because, we
No,
plan
Liam.
everything with this podcast.
Uh-huh.
Nothing is left to chance. Catching up with, have you been up to anything else, Amanda?
I don't think so. I mean, the other stuff I guess would fall into more like watching things and stuff like that.
Oh, well, that brings us nicely onto my favourite part of the show, which now we can just name watching things and stuff.
Yeah, that is a much more succinct name.
Yeah, but for those that like the traditional way, now it's time for Liam went to the cinema, and now it's time for his spoiler time. I've ruined it.
Wow.
I got too excited and my words jumbled
You
in my
did.
mouth.
I don't even know what you said.
Now it's time for Liam went to the cinema, and here's his spoiler-free reviews of the things that he saw at the cinema.
Now it's time for Liam went to the cinema and the spoiler thing.
So have we all been to the cinema in the last couple of weeks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have we all gone to see?
Who
Again, Liam, you're doing the thing where you just generically talk to two other people.
Yeah, and whoever answers first gets preference. It's like a race.
I know you've talked about it, but I saw Mother.
Oh, yay. Okay. What did you think?
I liked it.
Good. I'm pleased.
Yes, I did like it. And I'm going to have an episode coming out fully on it. And I got so frustrated when I left. I went and saw it with my friend Sean. And as soon as it ended, I was like, what is wrong with people who say they don't get this movie? And why did it have an F cinema score? I was just so angry at, like, I don't know, people who go see movies uninformed.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, so I came away from it, and I was, like, me and Kat spoke for, like, half an hour immediately. She had one take, I had another take. But then we looked up, and it was, and, like, Darren Aronofsky, the director, was like, no, this is what I was trying to say with that movie. And I was completely off the mark. Like, I was thinking it was some sort of comment on the patriarchy and how, if it's kind of left to run riot, shit gets bad.
I mean, I think that's a valid take on it.
Yeah, we did discuss it for a long time, which did make me think there's probably some merit there to that. But like me and Jack have had this discussion before, where it's like, if a director says this is what I intended and you didn't get that intention, you got something else, does that make the something else that you got less valid?
See, I think that's like a larger artistic question. Like I've written about this before on like papers for classes and stuff, but like
Yeah.
the whole idea is, okay, yeah, maybe that was their intention, but once they put the art out into the world, part of it is up to how the consumers of that art interpret it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like one of the things that we've discussed in the past is how everyone brings their own personal baggage when they go to see a movie.
Oh yeah, I think like film and cinema is a very personal experience.
Yeah, like, so in Mother, I'm going to try and discuss it without spoilers.
No spoilers, please, Liam.
Yeah, I'm sure this isn't intentional, but there is a scene where Jennifer Lawrence's character is sat opposite Javier Bardem's character. Mm-hmm. And the way that was just, like, framed and shot and edited, for some reason, and I don't know why, because it's not like I'd been thinking about it recently, and I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but it reminded me of the presidential debate where Trump just like stalked Clinton around the stage.
Oh.
Now, I'm sure that was not what they were trying to get at, but for some reason watching that just triggered that in my mind.
No, I think that's really interesting because my friend Sean, who I saw it with, he's not who I had on the podcast, like on my podcast for it, but he was like, oh my God, there's so much politics going on in this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a really interesting interpretation of it. I think that's part of why I liked the movie so much is because there are so many different interpretations you can take from it, whether it's
definitely.
what Aronofsky intended or whether it's what like each viewer sees. And so even if like somebody didn't like it as much, there's so much to talk about it. Like the I guess the people that frustrate me are the ones that are just like, whatever, it's a pile of shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like there is so much to talk about and parse out in that movie. Like, how can your response just be like, whatever, it's awful, and that's it? Like there's so many things that you can talk about that movie.
Exactly.
And
It really annoys me when people do that.
You do it, Jack.
No, I don't, Liam. You do.
When?
Nameless.
That wasn't a movie.
No, but it's still a thing that you're taking in. Don't be pedantic.
oh boy.
Whatever. Nameless was a pile of shit. Moving on.
So yeah,
I want Jack to see Mother because I'd be so curious what his like reading of it would be.
Yeah, I will go and well, maybe not go and see it, but I will see it.
Okay. And then for a housekeeping, maybe you can just kind of give a little like, this is what I thought.
Yeah, or I guess to this section because this is the section where we watch stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing, Amanda, is I felt it was quite creepy. And I know, like, obviously we've discussed in the past with you and horror. How did you kind of handle the horror elements to it?
So yeah, for me, since I don't do horror, and I know on the episode that I was on your guys before, we talked about that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I went into this knowing it was an Aronofsky film, so knowing it wasn't
Yeah.
going to be horror.
Yeah, I think if you could handle like Black Swan, then this is
Yeah,
easy.
and I love Black Swan. It's a movie I own. So, yeah, I love Black Swan. And so I knew it was going to be much more like psychological and thriller aspects.
Yeah.
And even like watching the first trailer for Mother, I was like, I feel like this is not what the movie is going to necessarily be. Like, they're trying to be vague.
Yeah.
And I like that's one of the criticisms I've heard a lot is like, oh, well, they marketed it as this. They marketed it as horror, and so that's why people didn't like it. And I'm like, but they also said it was a Darren Aronofsky film.
Yeah, I kind of wish film marketing would just fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things like Avenger movies, Justice League, don't need to market them, people are going to go see them. And then when you have stuff like this, if you market it wrong, like they do, it's only going to annoy the people that do go and see it, so they're less likely to want to go and see more of that sort of thing. So just stop marketing.
Right. That was like part of my point, is I'm like, it's such an original film.
Yeah.
And I want more original films to be made. Like, yeah, of course, I'm going to go shell out the money to go see every Marvel movie and Star Wars movie and DC movie and Fast and the Furious movie. Like, yeah, I'm going to go see those. But those are also not typically my favorite movies of all time. Like,
Yeah.
my favorite movies of all time are very original movies.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I want to see Mother again because I feel like I rated it too lowly. Is that? Yeah, that makes sense. That's grammatically correct, I think.
No, I think you just say too low.
Too low. Yeah, I rated it too low when I first saw it because I think I was still processing it, and it's definitely a movie that I think you should sit with for a couple of days to kind of fully digest.
To be fair, I do think you said that, Liam, on the episode. I think you rated it and then said, but I want to watch it again because I don't think that rating's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think saying, like, it's something that you want to process is so perfect, because it really is.
Yeah. What would you give it out of 5?
I think I would give it a 4.
I would agree with that, even though that's not the rating I gave it.
Yeah. Like, I think some of the symbolism is a little heavy-handed, but then I also know some people are like, I didn't get it at all. And then I'm just like, do you not understand the language of cinema? But, like, that's also me being a total, like, film snob jerk, but I kind of don't care. Like, I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get so passionate about film, and so that to see something that is original and interesting and makes you think and you can talk about it, and then for people to just be like, I don't know, I don't get it. I'm like, oh my God.
It's funny you should say that because both me and Jack saw Blade Runner 2049 recently.
Yep.
I didn't get it.
I don't know how you didn't get it.
I didn't get it at all.
I saw it last night.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I saw it on Thursday, and it wasn't okay. Here's the thing, and this is why I wanted to do this.
Spoiler free, Liam. Don't forget spoiler free. Spoiler free.
Spoiler free.
Amanda's gonna go.
Yeah,
see
I'm
it.
going to see it in like 3 hours. So
When do I
imagine how-
ever do spoilers in this part?
You don't, but I just worry that this, there's always going to be a first time, Liam.
No. Alright, so this is why I wanted to discuss it with like following Mother. Mother, I feel like gives you the perfect amount for you to then extrapolate from and have your own readings. I personally felt with Blade Runner 2049, and this might just be me and like how I don't always gel quite with sci-fi, I felt like I needed them to give me just a little bit more for me to then start kind of extrapolating my own readings from. Whereas I'm sure like Jack will be like, I'm happy with the amount they gave me, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, to be fair, the discussion, because me and Liam spoke about this earlier when we were at work on our chat, and the discussion we had there was a lot more civil than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And I think the issue is, Liam's like, when Liam wants a philosophical film or a film that's going to pose him questions, he likes it to be that human element of like, people doing people things.
Or like relationships. I like when people meet other people.
I'm way more open to like the stuff that sci-fi films pose as a philosophical question, like when is something wrong, but not involving people. So this film ticks all those boxes for me, but I can see why it didn't tick the boxes for Liam. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to discuss anything within the film because I actually don't really know. I think there's information that's given to you in the first 10 minutes that I feel like even if you speak about that, it would be a spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I think
what I will say.
We should leave it here.
Ryan Gosling as good as you would expect him to be. I was surprised by Harrison Ford. He was better than I was expecting him to be because I felt like with Star Wars he kind of phoned in his performance a little bit, and I was worried. Obviously, this is like another movie of his from before that he's kind of returning to, and I feel like he did a much better job than with Star Wars.
Okay. Did you like the original Blade Runner?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
I also liked the original.
I think the themes and the questions that the original is posing, I much prefer to what I kind of feel like the questions and the themes that this one is trying to discuss.
But you are an idiot, Liam, so there we go.
I mean, I think that's about as much as we can say, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although, also, one other thing. A lot of people I've seen on Twitter say how beautiful it is as a film, and I feel like there was definitely a couple of scenes, but overall, I found it quite drab to look at. I wasn't
that's what's beautiful about it.
Right, brilliant.
Do you not, no. Do you not, so it's like there are loads of paintings and stuff, I can't remember what the artist's name is, but he draws, dystopia-style paintings. You can have beauty in something drab.
Right, I didn't see that in this.
Okay, I did. I thought they did. I think the art direction of this is spot on and perfect.
The thing is, I'm aware that this wasn't for me, and I'm probably coming across as too dismissive at the moment. I didn't hate it or whatever. I just personally found it, the majority of it, quite boring. So there was a couple of scenes that I did like, but majority I was just like, ugh. So it's going to be a 2.5 out of 5.
And mine is like a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I also feel like people who listen to this show regularly, Jack made this point earlier, would be able to predict both of our kind of feelings about this film.
I mean, as a regular listener, I guess I could say, because it's sci-fi, so that's definitely more Jack's realm than it is yours, Liam.
Exactly.
That's literally all I was basing that on, is I was like, if you were to say to someone, they watched a sci-fi film, what do you think they rated it? You would definitely have got our ratings.
There is some sci-fi that I really, really, really love.
Like?
Hang on. I'm just...
That one sci-fi film that I saw with the things.
I'm getting my letterbox list up because I want to kind of be accurate. Jurassic Park counts as sci-fi, right?
No, it's science fiction, but I think this is
We're
very
talking
obviously...
like space and shit, yeah?
Yeah, or not even, just futuristic-y,
okay,
spacey,
so
something like that.
In recent years, Ex Machina, we're going to count that?
Oh, yeah, I think that counts. Totally.
Yeah, that does. That's fair.
I really like that.
Yeah, that's a brilliant film.
Alien, I'm a big fan of. And Aliens.
Yes.
The Thing is one of my favourites.
The Thing's more horror, though. It is sci-fi, but...
I mean, so is Alien, right?
2 movies I can never
Alien
watch.
Alien is way more sci-fi than The Thing is.
What about Arrival?
I kind of warmed to it. I didn't like it on my initial viewing, and then I rewatched it with Jack a couple of months ago, and I preferred it once I was a little bit more forgiving of it. So when I first watched it, after the opening, I was like, oh, cool. They're basically doing like another Gravity, where it's all about a female character processing something. And then, without doing spoilers, when I saw what they were doing, I was like, oh, okay, I was wrong, and I kind of appreciate that I was wrong about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so Liam hated the film that he thought he was watching, and then realised it wasn't that film, so then when he next watched it was like, oh.
Yeah, Terminator, that's sci-fi, isn't it?
Yeah, Terminator counts, yeah.
Yeah, Blade Runner. I mean, I'll be honest, like, sci-fi is probably the genre that is most represented in my kind of... Sorry, is the genre that's least represented in my favourites.
Yeah, I love sci-fi.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Any other films that anyone saw?
I watched The Room for the first time.
Ooh. How was that?
It was freaking hilarious.
Did you watch it with an audience?
No, I didn't watch it with a live audience. I watched it with a couple friends for an upcoming podcast to come out around the disaster artist.
Yeah.
But I mean, it won't. That podcast won't come out until like December. But I totally talked about listening to you guys talk about your live audience experience.
I think we said it would be the worst way to watch it for the first time, but it is the best way to watch it once you've seen it once, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I definitely want to go to a live one. There's a local theater here in Columbus that does monthly live screenings of it. So
I would recommend going, definitely.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out at some point. Like it was just my friend George, who I watched it with, kept calling it a trashterpiece.
So the people you'd seen it with before, the people you saw it with, had they seen it before?
Only my friend George had. My friend Peyton had not. He and I were virgins for it.
Okay. Because I think that's part of the fun as well, is introducing people to that movie. Mm-hmm. Because just their reactions is always brilliant.
Like, hearing you guys talk about your experience, like, I've wanted to watch it for a long time, and I've seen clips and like different internet videos and stuff, but like hearing your guys' passion about it and like how much fun you had at the live screening of it, I was totally like, okay, like I'd already had it on my list to do for an upcoming series I'm doing on like notoriously terrible movies.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of like, I bumped it up my list after hearing you guys talk about it.
Well, that's good. I'm pleased to hear that, and I'm pleased that you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would have been a much worse story if you'd been like, it was shit, I don't know why you suggested it.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, your list of like terrible movies, what else is on there?
Like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah.
There's... Okay, so my friends that I'm doing it with, Peyton and George, said the next one that we're going to do, they want to do something by Neil Breen. I've never watched any of his stuff, and they were like, oh my god, it's so horrible. So
I have no idea who that is.
I don't know.
No.
And
Intriguing.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Like, we've already recorded Ishtar, and I'm putting that out soon. So, I don't know. We're probably going to take suggestions for terrible movies, too. Because I don't tend to watch terrible movies. I try to avoid them. So...
Is Troll 2 on your list?
Okay, so Troll 2 has come up a lot, but then it runs into that I can't watch horror movies thing.
It's not. Like, you would not be scared by that movie.
Okay.
I'll rewatch it soon, just to kind of, because it's been a few years, so I'll rewatch it just to definitely confirm that. But I'm pretty certain it's so badly made that you wouldn't be able to find it scary if you tried.
Okay.
I just looked up Neil Breen, and like on IMDb, you know, it has the known for and then 4 like thumbnails of movies.
Yeah.
It has an actor, and it looks like they've just used the same picture of this actor in 3 of the posters.
All right, so I have something to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, just you shouldn't judge it by its cover, but what a cover's for, if not to judge.
Right.
These look terrible.
Yeah, wait, whoa, I just looked it up as well.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I didn't understand what you were saying. Holy shit.
It's like they've got one image of an actor and gone, yeah, we'll just use that.
Oh my god.
it's not like these were all done in the same year. One was 2005 and the most recent was 2013.
Yep.
Yeah, this is weird.
That looks terrible.
Yeah,
Good luck with that.
I think Fateful Findings was the one they said they want to watch. They did say he's the kind of narcissist in the same way that Tommy Wiseau is.
Yeah. What would you give The Room out of 5?
So this was like a thing. Like, if I were to give it a rating as a film,
Yeah.
it would be like 0 stars. Or
Okay.
like,
Yep, accurate.
like, but if I were to give it a rating on being like an unintentional comedy, it's like 4 or 4.5. You know, like it's
Yeah.
hysterical. But they were
I
making a drama, so like.
Yeah, there's often like a conversation I see on Twitter, which is, what do you think the best movies are, and what are your favourite movies, and how do you kind of define that distinction? Whereas I personally, I couldn't say what makes a movie like technically good or whatever, because that doesn't really interest me as much as looking at something and going, oh, how much did I enjoy this? Because I guess I'm very narcissistic like that. So I can only rate movies based on my like enjoyment factor of them. So something like The Room gets rated really highly.
Yeah.
I saw a movie at the cinema, if that's okay for me to talk about.
No.
Tough. I saw Flatliners.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I saw the trailer for this and thought it looked kind of interesting.
It has Ellen Page.
That's why
Yeah,
you
that's why
saw
you saw
it.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been so long since I've seen like Ellen Page on a huge cinema screen.
Yeah, what's she been doing? Has she been...
She's done a couple of Netflix movies. I can't remember what it's called. It begins with T. Talalula, something like that.
Yeah, it was with,
Thingy.
oh crap, she has a ton of Emmys from The West Wing and...
Tallulah. And
yeah.
the person is...
Allison Janney.
Yeah, that's the one.
Jack, do you know all these names that we're saying?
No. I know Ellen Page.
And she was in an animation recently called My Life as a Zucchini, which came to Amazon Prime, if you have that, which I haven't watched, but I want to.
Oh, yeah, I think
enough.
it's on Netflix here in the US in a cinema group I'm a part of. I just got a notification yesterday, like, hey everyone, guess what? It's on Netflix here now.
Nice. I saw that Raw was on US Netflix, but we don't have it on the UK one, and that made me really sad.
Oh.
It's a French cannibal movie. Anyway, Flatliners, Ellen Page. Seeing her was brilliant. So I'm going to talk about this, but obviously we have to factor in there's a bias here.
Yeah. Now, just... I don't want to hear about how much you love Ellen Page, Liam.
I don't give a fuck.
No. Can you please tell me if this film is good? Ignoring Ellen Page.
It's not.
Cool.
It's not good.
Okay.
How is the Grantchester guy? He's so cute.
Who?
I only know his character's name. Crap.
Okay.
He's in a British show called Grantchester that I watch.
So James Norton.
Yes, that's him.
He was good. And it also has Diego Luna, who was in Rogue One.
Oh, yeah.
He was good. And Nina Dobrev.
From Vampire Diaries.
And also Triple X3 Return of Xander Cage.
Why do I recognise her name?
Because she's adorable, Jack, and you've probably looked her up.
She's very
I
pretty.
don't think I have.
Oh, it also has Kirstie Clemens, who was really good. She was in a movie called Dope with what's his face, who was in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh,
Helpful name.
yeah. The guy, he was also in Grand Budapest
Yeah,
Hotel.
what's his name? Because IMDb isn't listing him easily for me to see.
Crap, I know his name because in Spider-Man: Homecoming, I was like, "Holy shit, it's him!" And his name is
Tony Revolori.
Yes. I'm like, God damn it, IMDb, he's the main
Yeah,
character
they really hit
in
that, didn't they?
Grand Budapest, and he's not even listed in the first 10 names.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Flatliners.
Can I, Liam? Can I
Yes.
very quickly
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
what the storyline to Flatliners is? Because that's not spoilers. Because I don't know.
Yeah. Sure. Guess.
They.
Wait.
all
Have you seen the
make-
original?
No, I've
Okay.
not seen the original, and I've only seen the trailer, and I think I only saw one trailer. They
Okay.
go in a machine that kills them for a short amount of time. They come back and it makes them feel real good about themselves. So they do it more and more, and then eventually they do it too many times or for too long, and then ghosts happen.
No.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
okay, the machine they're in doesn't kill them. It's like an MRI machine because they're trying to map their brain waves to see what happens to you when you die.
Oh, okay. So they right. Okay.
So what they do is they deliberately give themselves like electric shocks to make their heart flatline, and then they're all medical kind of people, like doctors and stuff, and they kind of resuscitate the person after X amount of time, and
Got
it's
you.
so that they can kind of see what happens after death. Now, that's also the exact same plot as the original, and I wasn't sure when watching this if this was going to be a remake or like a semi-sequel, because Kiefer Sutherland is in the original and in this.
Oh, okay.
Now, it turns out in this, he plays a different character, and there was originally going to be a line that did link the two movies, but for whatever ridiculous reason, the director decided to cut that line, which I think is a huge shame, because
Oh my god.
I was waiting for them to connect it, and I would have been a lot happier if they had done that. Anyway, Flatliners, basically, if you've seen the original and you like it, you were kind of along the right lines, Jack, in that ghosts sort of happen in that it's kind of like manifestations of things that they're guilty about from their past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which again is exactly the same as the original, and this, the original's not great to begin with, and this isn't really better. So 2.5 out of 5, and you know that most of that is just because Ellen Page.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all of the cinema stuff I saw.
Liam,
Yeah.
I've watched something,
Yeah.
and it's something that you requested that I watch in a sort of way.
Oh, was this Luke Cage?
No.
Okay.
So, if you remember, Liam, think back to the days when we had a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That you always wanted me to watch a third anime so that you could finally make a playlist.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was really eager for you to do.
Liam, I did it. I haven't watched it all because it's not all been dubbed yet. But I watched something called Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
That's a title.
It's so good. It's the story of a woman called Miss Kobayashi
Yeah.
who has a dragon rock up at her door who disguises itself as a human maid. It's so good.
Why?
Okay, well, the story that they sort of establish is that this dragon the dragons live in their own world.
Obviously.
This dragon got killed in its world, got a sword stabbed in it, which turned it to stone, and then with its like last dying power, it teleported or something to our world, and then Miss Kobayashi got very, very drunk and pulled the sword out of it, thinking it was a statue, thus saving the dragon's life. So the dragon feels indebted to Miss Kobayashi, and then promptly falls in love with her whilst also wanting to murder all humans, and it's fucking amazing.
Why would
Now-
you choose to watch that?
You're immediately thinking, Liam, that this is the usual anime trash that I love. It's weirdly not. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous and stupid, and it is, but it's also, the way they do it is each episode is broken up into, like, a main storyline that's going on, and then they literally have, like, cuts in it that cut to side stories, which are, like, anything from a minute to 5 minutes long, and they're just all comedy, and it's genuinely like it's taking the piss out of anime, and it's great. Like all the things that you hate about anime, Liam,
Yeah.
this show is being like.
Wait, well, what
yeah,
are the
those
things that I
are
hate
stupid.
about anime?
You hate when it's all over the top and their powers are just ridiculous, and all the sort of stereotypical stories
When have I
that anime
ever
do.
said that?
You've definitely said that.
I think you're mistaken me, because I've never really
No,
seen
I'm
an
pretty
anime
positive
where
when I spoke
people
about
have
Tokyo
powers.
Ghoul and described Tokyo Ghoul to you, the reasons you were like, it sounds shit, were all the reasons I just said.
I don't recall that.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, this is genuinely a really funny show, and it's so good.
Is it funny that like normal people would find it funny, or is it funny that you
Yes.
find it funny?
No. I think normal people would find it funny.
Do you have to have a good knowledge of anime to
No.
get what it's lampooning?
No, because part of the comedy is also just that it's sort of ridiculously over the top. Like, they have a scene where a bunch of these people who are really dragons have a dodgeball match with some bully
What?
kids.
This sounds so shit.
No. One of the dragons is basically a 6-year-old girl, because it's
Obviously.
in its world it's a young dragon. All she wants is to go to human school and have a human school experience, and then some kids challenge her friend to a dodgeball match, which if they win, they get to whoever wins gets to keep the playground. So she gets all her dragon friends to help, and they have an anime style dodgeball match, which is literally them like launching through the air and firing a dodgeball at these poor kids and beating the shit out of them, and it's so good. Now, Liam, you're sighing and you're taking the piss out of the way that plot sounds, but that's what comedy. That's a type of comedy.
Yeah, sure. It's brilliant.
Right,
it sounds
whatever.
great. What would you give it out of 5?
Weirdly, Liam, I didn't watch it for you. I watched it because I thought it was hilarious.
And what would you give it out of 5?
So far, 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, but like more to come.
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, so listeners can look forward to hearing more about fucking dragons.
Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
It sounds so bad.
Don't give a shit what you think, mate.
Right, let's have like an impartial person. Amanda, what does the premise of that sound like to you?
I mean, okay, so I'm more into anime movies than I am television shows.
I'm the same, yeah.
But
No, you aren't, Liam. You liked one anime movie.
Oh, is it the one I haven't been able to listen to yet?
Oh, no, not that one.
Okay. Oh, he likes Barefoot Gen.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, wait, I should know this. I've listened to all your episodes except for 1.5 because I haven't watched those things yet. I mean, it sounds just kind of crazy. I don't know if I would watch it, but it definitely sounds like something Jack would enjoy, and I could see like other people enjoying it.
Yeah. That's probably like the perfect way of putting it down. Is it sounds like something Jack would enjoy.
And other people. Amanda
I did
said
say
and
other people.
That's less important. It's the something that Jack would enjoy a bit that I'm really focusing on there.
It got 8.2 out of 10 on myanimelist.net. I don't know what that is.
I don't want to know what that is.
It's the top result. It's one of the top results if you search Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Jack, you have a listener request to read American Psycho, and you promised.
No. You requested American Psycho.
Yeah, no, I requested it, and then a listener also requested it, and then on the last episode, you promised that you'd have it finished for a review in this episode.
I haven't. Honestly, I'm struggling so much with this fucking book. I have no excuse. Honestly, this is the worst recommendation you've given me, Liam. And that's not me insulting you, because you weren't, you said I read it ages ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm struggling so much with it.
What is it that you're struggling with? Because you must have got through, like, or at least skipped over the chapters that you were having issues with.
No, because you can't. What? No, you can't skip over chapters in a book.
You skipped over the chapters where it was like a review.
No, no. I skim read that chapter.
Yeah. So what's your issue now?
I'm not gonna. Because what?
Well, that's only like a couple of chapters.
It's different. Is skipping a chapter that is all about Genesis, the band, is different to skipping the story and then just getting to the end and being like,
so that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, right?
So you take those chapters out of the equation. What are your issues with the rest of the story?
The same issue that I've been having all along.
Which is?
It's so obvious and not interesting to read. Like they leave too much of the really obvious plot point they're going for, which is look at this guy who's living an executive lifestyle. Oh, also he's a psychopath, and
I mean this is considered like a classic of literature.
I don't understand why.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm finding it so boring to read. I don't know. It might pick up. Who knows? And if it does, hopefully I'll get there. But this book has, quite frankly, killed my reading for the past 2 months, and I hate it.
Have you read anything else in the meantime, like to palate cleanse?
I have to read. If I'm reading something, I have to finish that thing before I can move on. I think there's genuinely one book in my life that I put down and was like, I'm not reading any more of that. And then I came back to it later and reread it and was like, oh, actually, that book got good. Maybe
you should do the same with American Psycho then.
So you don't have like 6 books at a time that you're reading?
No, I like to have one that I just focus on.
Okay.
How much of American Psycho have you got left?
50%.
And how much have you read since the last episode?
0%.
How have you not read like anything?
Well, okay, so also I discovered that Netflix, I'm allowed to download stuff for offline viewing. And so the past 2 weeks, I've been watching Gilmore Girls on my way to and from work.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason that the gap in between the last episode and this one hasn't had any improvement.
Okay.
And then when I got to work, I had enough time to watch an episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
I read a book.
What?
So it's all Amanda's fault as well, right? So because Blankets was such a big book, And anyone who's like listening is like, what the fuck are they talking about? Listen to the last episode. We discussed blankets. It will make sense. I got into the habit of at night, I would take my glasses off and I would read like a chapter of blankets.
Okay.
And I quite enjoyed like just spending my nights kind of like decompressing like that and not doing anything with screens or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd previously brought Carrie as a digital like a Kindle book, but because part of what I was enjoying so much was not looking at screens, I went and brought the paperback of Carrie by Stephen King.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I wanted
You've
to
been
kind
reading
of,
it.
Yeah, I wanted to carry on that whole like ending my night with a book. So
You carried on with Carrie.
yeah, I've read all of Carrie.
I feel like this is a sort of, like there's a deer that's wandered onto my lawn and I don't want to scare it away. So I'm scared that if I say anything, you'll just be like, well, I'm never reading again now.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. This is like my first like book that I've read in, I think, 4 years, I want to say.
Damn.
What did you think?
Oh, no, 5 years. I looked it up because I found my old Goodreads account and it turned out it was 5 years.
Jesus. Did you
okay.
enjoy it?
So I'm a big fan of the Brian De Palma movie. And what surprised me about the book is it's not... Have you read it, Jack? Because I know you're a Stephen King fan.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I have read Carrie.
Okay, it's not told in like a traditional novel way. It's not like chapters or whatever. It's kind of split up with news reports or like published academic writings on this event that happened on prom night. Kind of gives kind of context, and then you have more traditional like story chunks where you see different characters' point of views throughout the book. So the book itself is split into like 3 sections. You've got essentially, if you've seen the film, I'll kind of reference to that. You've got the shower scene, and like the build up to that is the first section. Then you've got prom night as the second section, and then like the third section is essentially like a short little aftermath. I enjoyed it. I felt like bear in mind, I think this was published in the 70s. So
Yep, 1974.
Yeah, so some of the language that Stephen King uses hasn't aged well. Like there's definitely a word that is used that I wouldn't feel comfortable repeating.
Okay.
Groovy.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, I made a bad joke. I said groovy.
No, it was a good joke.
That was good. I just didn't hear what the word was that you said.
Groovy.
Groovy. It was not groovy. But yeah, so I think even like with the familiarity of the film, there's always like concern. Like I remember, like I loved Lord of the Rings, but then I found the books such a chore because I was so familiar with the story that it was only really the Tom Bombadil chapter that I really enjoyed because it diverted away from what I knew was kind of happening. But with this, I just like because it is told in that very unique, like, oh, here's letters, here's all these sort of things, here's like police reports and stuff. I really enjoyed it, and I found it very interesting, and I would give it 4 out of 5.
Right. Are
But
you going to
then-
carry on reading, Liam?
Right, here's the issue, right?
Okay, no, cool. So it was a one-off. Fantastic.
I was so excited about my newfound joy of reading that I ordered Stephen King's next book, which is Salem's Lot.
No, you're not doing it in order. I've read Salem's Lot, though.
Yeah, here's the issue with that.
Don't do it in order, Liam.
Why not?
'Cause that's not how books work. I know that you do that with films. Please break your chain for books. That's not how you do books.
Well, here's the thing, okay? Carrie is a nice, I think it was something like 240 something pages, which is a nice length for a book when you're easing yourself back into reading. It's not too short. It's not too long, yeah?
Yeah.
Salem's Lot is like 750 pages.
Just wait till we do the stand, Liam.
So what I've done instead is I read this before a while back, but I reread it because I wanted to compare 2 different authors, their first books. So I'm currently reading Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk.
Okay, yeah, I think I've read the book version of that.
Yeah, so I was just curious to compare like what 2 kind of debut books side by side would read like, and yeah, I'm about halfway through that, so I might have finished it in time to do a little review on the next episode.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I read now.
Nice.
Good job, Liam.
Thank you. And that was my surprise that I had for you, Jack.
Oh, okay.
I
mean...
Sorry.
No, go on, Amanda.
No, I was going to say, since it's my fault, I feel like my degree in literature has done something. It has gotten Liam to read.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is entirely your fault because I just got into that habit with blankets. It's just such a nice way to end the day.
Yeah, I used to love reading before I went to bed. That was my big thing.
Yeah. Housekeeping.
Keep my house.
I watched some more Attack on Titan. I did another 3 episodes.
Good job, Liam.
I'm enjoying it less now.
Well, keep going.
The thing is, right, the characters that I like have taken a bit of a backseat, and the focus has gone back onto the character that I don't like, and I still don't like him. Like, they haven't really... They've given him this thing, but they haven't actually developed his character by having that thing yet. So he's still just frustrated, but now he's frustrated, and there's this, like, added mystery element attached on top of it that is just frustrating.
Yeah, well, keep going.
Brilliant.
I don't know what else you want me to say.
Stop watching it. It doesn't get better.
No.
Does it get better?
Keep watching. Yeah.
When?
What episode are you on?
I think the last episode I watched was number 10 or 11.
Oh, yeah, no, you're not even that far into it. Chill out.
Far enough.
No.
It's like over 2 hours I've put into it.
Yeah, no, 6 episodes you put 2 hours into it.
Yeah. I put ages into it.
Were you
I was
doing
the math, yeah. Oh, also, this was something I wanted to talk to Amanda about, because I was listening to her podcast, and she said math, and I say math, but you and Kat always yell at me and go, oh no, it's maths, and I wanted to have that discussion now that I've got backup.
Sorry, okay, whoa. Just before we have this discussion, I put that in air quotes. Amanda is American, Americans say math.
Yeah, and I say math.
English people say maths.
Doesn't make sense though, I don't understand why we put an S on
it does.
the end.
It does make sense, Liam, because they're two different, like, they're the same language, but we have different idioms, and not idioms, that's not the right word, different, like, words in our languages that have evolved over time.
Different cultural things.
The thing is, maths to me is like multiple maths, and I can't do multiple sums in my head at the same time.
Well, that's fucking retarded.
I do one at a time.
The idea that an S at the end of a word immediately makes it plural in your head, Liam,
sometimes
means that you don't know English very well.
I mean, technically, that is a bit of an English rule to put an S at the end of something does make it plural.
It's not, but not every word. It's one of those things where it's like it doesn't even work for every plural because you can get lots of sheep. It's one of those things where it is a rule, but it's not applied to everything.
Yeah, so
isn't plural.
why do Americans say math and we have to add an S on the end?
Because that's just the way the two languages differ.
Yeah, but no, if you actually break it down and you go, why does this happen? You go, oh, because Americans are smart enough to realise you can only do one sum at a time.
Oh, okay, Liam. Let me just very quickly ask you then. I'll ask both of you this. What is the expanded word for math and maths? What is that shortened from?
Mathematics.
Ah, which has an S at the end, Liam. So answer me that, dickhead.
Sorry, what was the question?
Jesus Christ. I said, Liam, what is math and maths short for?
Yeah.
To which Amanda replied correctly, mathematics.
Yeah.
Which has an S at the end.
Yeah.
Which means that your whole point of it can't have an S at the end is stupid because the actual word has an S at the end.
It's ridiculous. Why is it called mathematics?
That's because that's the word.
Why is it not called mathematic?
Oh, I hate you so much. Can we just move on?
We had some tweets.
What did people say, Liam?
Jason tweeted us, I think it was like a podcast day or something, so he did like a load of tweets about good podcasts, and we were number 1. He recommended us first. He said, Nerd on Nerd are great, listening to Liam Underwood and EXP172, which is your Twitter handle.
Yeah, I should get a better Twitter handle.
Verbally beat the shit out of each other is fabulous. Yep. And I felt like that was a very accurate description of our show.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
And then I tweeted saying I was off to see Blade Runner, and Lee responded saying, as a 3-hour movie, it at the very least needs to be pretty, seeing it this afternoon. And as you heard, me and Jack disagree on its prettiness.
Did Lee ever say whether he thought it was pretty or not?
Nah.
Fair enough.
To be fair, I didn't follow that tweet up with anything. I think I just liked it and forgot about it.
Fair enough.
I don't know why he put me in charge of social media. It was a mistake.
No, I've got no idea.
I think it's because, like, I am bad at it, but I am marginally better than you at it.
Yeah, I don't use social media.
Yeah. And that was housekeeping.
Can I add that I didn't tweet you guys for housekeeping because I knew I was going to be talking to you in like 2 days?
That kind of makes sense.
I think that's fair.
And I thought I could just say something instead of tweet at you and be like, oh, look, you wrote to us and you're here. So I just wanted to say I'm really glad that Jack liked blankets. I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it quite as much, Liam.
I still liked it, though.
Yeah. And not all Americans have that sort of religious upbringing.
Yeah, did we say they did? 'Cause that sounds like the kind of sweeping statement that we do say.
No.
But don't mean.
It was just... No. I mean, you didn't make a full and sweeping statement, but it was more like that, like, sort of American evangelical thing. Like, I grew up baptized Methodist, confirmed Episcopalian, which is Anglican, and then, like, also went to, like, a Bible church for a while. So I never had that sort of craziness, but, like, other parts in Blankets I think are very relatable.
Yeah, that's sort of like what I had, where there were bits where I was like, oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
The, like, extreme side of the religion.
Well, I related to the whole relationship angle.
Yeah. That's something that's interesting with that book, is also to see, like, depending on where you are in your life when you read it, like, how you interpret it. Because the first time I read it, I was, like, 19. And then the next time I read it, I was 30.
Okay.
So, very different perspectives. But
yeah.
I am very glad that you liked it. Also, cut a rug is totally a saying.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's not just old ladies.
I love it when we have guests on, because sometimes it just shuts Jack up for like 5 minutes, and those are my favourite 5 minutes.
I like when you blot out all the other shit that happens, Liam, and just focus on the bits where I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's what happens.
God. Yeah. I feel like there was something else that I was gonna say that Liam was wrong on, but I can't remember now. I should have written notes down.
We just have to assume that I wasn't wrong then, right? That's the logical assumption to make from that. Culture swap.
Swap my culture.
Thank you very much. Amanda told us to watch the first season of Gilmore Girls, and I'm so pleased she did. If you haven't seen the first season of Gilmore Girls, fix that. It's on Netflix. It's brilliant. There's going to be spoilers.
Yeah, there are.
But only for season 1. Amanda, please don't spoil anything that happens.
No. I kept thinking as I was rewatching season 1, like, I have to be so careful what I'm going to say.
Yes. Because I'm so excited to start season 2 later.
Yeah. Yep.
So, a kind of quick plot synopsis of Gilmore Girls. It's set in this adorable little place called Stars Hollow, and it's about a mother and a daughter, and they have like quite a kind of special relationship. Is that a fair way of saying it?
Yeah, I mean they're pals as well as mother and daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just about their lives and how they kind of cope with shit, and it's brilliant, and that's the synopsis. Let's start with like Amanda discussing why she recommended it, and then we'll kind of dig into the show itself. So
I recommended this one. You had asked me to come back on the podcast, and not for a particular thing. You were like, recommend something.
Yeah, just for our 50th anniversary special.
Yeah. Our well-planned 50th anniversary special.
Yeah.
And Gilmore Girls is probably my all-time favorite television show. I have watched it probably just slightly more than I've watched Buffy.
Okay.
And I thought that you guys would enjoy it. Like, whenever I recommend something to you, I'm not like, you will hate this, because that's mean, and you're my friends, and I don't want to be mean to you. So, I love Gilmore Girls so much. It's one of my favorite, it's my favorite TV show, but it's also like one of my favorite things. And if I've like had a rough day or a rough time, sometimes I'll just put on Gilmore Girls, and it's just like soothing. And there have been years of my life that I've fallen asleep watching or listening to Gilmore Girls. And it's also like, it's kind of a big deal with my family. My mom and I have a very similar relationship to Rory and Lorelai.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I'm a little bit obsessed with Gilmore Girls. Like when the new episodes, like Gilmore Girls A Year in a Life, came out, I stayed up late until it aired, starting at 3 a.m. with my mom and sisters, and we watched it all. And then I went home and I took a nap, and then I watched all of it again with my mother-in-law.
Are they planning to do any more, or are they just like, that's it, we're done now?
Oh, that's all. That could be a whole conversation on itself.
Okay. I'll step back from that until I've seen...
Yeah, because...
Until I'm all caught up.
Yeah, because I don't want to... Like, there's so much that goes on in the next, like, 7 seasons, you know?
Yeah.
Between the end of that, yeah. But...
I mean, it would be weird if it was your favourite show and you were like, but to be honest, season 1's where it all happens, and then the next 6 seasons are just them sort of being like, oh, everything's fine.
Yeah. Like, my history with the show is I was aware of it being on TV, like, here and there, but I never properly sat down and watched it, which is, I think, I had, like, an inkling that it was my sort of show, but also, because of that, I didn't want to just jump in midway through. I wanted to watch it from the beginning all the way through, and you recommending it was just the perfect excuse to finally start doing that.
Okay, and I do want to say, like, thank you so much for actually watching all of season 1, both of you, because I know that's so unusual for you guys.
I think
we broke our rule.
I think we should start doing it more because...
Yeah.
Actually, no, fuck, I'm going to regret saying that when you start making me watch fucking anime bullshit. Ignore that.
Man, can you imagine if I hadn't made you watch Attack on Titan and we had to do the whole thing?
Oh, I just struggled so much.
Anyway, yeah, no, this show has been awesome to watch. Like, there wasn't a point where I was like, God, I wish that I wasn't watching the entire first season for this episode.
Yeah, same.
Oh, yay. Yay.
I think if we'd have had to stop at 6, I'd have struggled.
Yeah, I mean, Liam had to time his out so that he finished...
I watched...
Was it yesterday or the day
Yeah,
before?
the last one yesterday. I was watching,
Yeah.
I think, 2 or 3 a day, and then I realised, oh shit, there's a week until we record, and I've got 6 episodes left, so I had to space them out.
I had to do the same thing, and even then it was a struggle. I had 3 episodes left to watch over the weekend, and I had to stop myself on Saturday so that I would have one to watch yesterday.
Yeah.
Was it really hard to not just hit, like, next episode when it came up, like, season 2, episode 1?
Oh, yeah,
hard,
I didn't realise. I was watching on Netflix, and I didn't even... like, my brain realised it had ended, but part of my brain was just like, no, it hasn't ended. So I just carried on watching, and I watched about 30 seconds of season 2, and I was like, no, wait, what's this? No, this is the wrong thing.
It's so good, though.
I'm so glad you guys liked it. So, okay, so because I'm just a total giant, like, Gilmore Girls nerd, so who are your favorite characters?
I think we both agreed Luke.
Yeah. Luke, okay,
Obviously.
so let's just start off by saying Luke and Lorelai just need to have some sex already.
No, they don't need to have sex, they need to get married.
Well, let's do the sex first, and then they can get married.
No, I just want them to be married and happy.
Want
That's all I want.
I want him to take her on the counter of the diner.
Okay, well.
I'm very specific about this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, Luke's brilliant. So the first character like that I just fell in love with immediately was Michelle.
Yes, I love Michelle.
Yeah, so like the first kind of maybe 2 or 3 episodes, I was like, he's my favourite, until they kind of developed Luke a lot more, and then the turning point for me with Luke, and you know we've warned that there's spoilers, so here's going to be one. After the 3-month anniversary and consequently the breakup, when Luke first sees Dean, his reaction, I was just like, Luke's my favourite.
Oh my god, and they're tussling outside.
Yep.
It's so wonderful.
I love that scene so much.
And I love how Lorelai's in the diner and you can see them fighting outside. And she's like, no, everybody's going to be fine. Don't worry about it, Rory. Yeah. It's good. And then she's like, what the hell? And like up and running out.
So good. I also really like the way they developed the grandparents and that whole dynamic and relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in either the last episode or the second to last episode where you get a I've always known that it's gonna go the way of like clearly Emily likes Lorelai and is upset that Lorelai left them.
Yeah.
And you really get that in that episode where she's trying to convince the great grandma not to give Rory money. And there's just a moment where she's like, if Rory takes the money, Lorelai will never come here again. And you're like, oh, and Lorelai just thinks that she's doing it to be a bitch, and you're like, no, she just loves you and doesn't want you to leave again.
Yeah.
I feel like Lorelai took losing her daughter $250,000 remarkably well.
I really like that scene where she just goes, you lost $250,000 today.
Yeah, I would not have taken that so well.
No.
I mean, yes, but at the same time, at least it wasn't like, and there's no more tuition for...
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's so much that it's lost as much as
No,
the trust...
she's getting it at 25?
Yeah, the trust will come about later on. It's just not happening now.
One of the things that made me really sad, because again, I was loving the way that they were developing the relationship, especially between Lorelai and her parents. And then the episode where they're setting Lorelai up with like a potential suitor.
Yeah.
Yep.
It kind of oh wait, hang on. Maybe I'm getting myself confused with episodes.
Are you?
Sorry,
Are you going to say?
It's the episode. Sorry, I got myself confused. It's the episode where Rory's dad comes over for dinner. Okay, and they invite his parents as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're kind of
Yes.
like slating Lorelai, and then her dad sticks up for her. I loved that because I was like, we haven't really seen them show a lot of affection towards each other. Like, he's very affectionate towards Rory, but not so much Lorelai. So I like that. And then I was just absolutely heartbroken when later on he was like, it wasn't necessarily a personal thing. It was just the Gilmore name was being dragged through the mud, and I can't allow that.
Yeah, he's like, I still don't forgive you for walking out on us.
Yeah. Oh, that
It
made
was
me
just-
so sad.
Yeah, that is really sad. It's that I had the same feeling in the episode where he gets hospitalized, and there's a scene where they are about to have a moment, and then everyone else walks in, and they never have it. And I was like, oh, okay, she's going to go back in a minute, and we'll get that conversation. And you don't.
Watched that episode so many times, and it always makes me cry, and it makes me cry more now because the actor who plays Richard, Edward Herman, has passed away, and because I've also, since the first time I watched it, I've experienced family members and friends who have had like heart attacks, and so like that moment where they're just looking at each other and they both have tears in their eyes.
Yeah.
And it's the missed opportunity. Oh my God, it guts me every time.
It's so good. That's one of the relationships that I'm most looking forward to seeing more of in like future seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what I didn't realise is Edward Herman, who plays him, like you said, one morning I watched, it was like after midnight, so I guess technically, I started watching Lost Boys, and he shows up in that, and I was like, oh, I totally didn't realise that he was in this movie.
Oh, I've actually never seen The Lost Boys.
It's good. Again, it's another horror that I think you could probably handle.
I've heard I could handle that one. At this point, I'm kind of like maybe holding it for like a Halloween coming up at some point. Yeah.
Hey, it's Halloween in like 2 weeks' time. Perfect excuse.
True.
But yeah, Jack, are there any other characters that you're particularly fond of?
Well, are there more that you've got? Because I've got one that I'm going to say, and you're going to disagree with. So,
who?
Dean.
Oh, fuck off, you.
Yeah. For some reason, Liam hates Dean.
No, I don't hate
think
Dean. I like
you
Dean
do.
as a
You
character.
hate Dean. No, you hate
he should
him.
not
You
be
hate
with
him,
Rory.
Liam. They're perfect for each other.
They're not. They're so not perfect for each other. It's ridiculous how not perfect for each other they are.
Oh, I have so many opinions, but it involves season 2. So I will just say I am team someone else.
Please don't let it be Chad Michael Murray's character, Tristan.
Oh, fuck Tristan.
Good.
Yeah, no, his whole character arc is really weird. Like, there was a moment where I was like, oh, maybe his character's turning a corner, and then he didn't.
Oh my God, when he says, oh, I don't even want to see this PJ Harvey guy, I'm just like, oh, fuck you.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
how did,
there's...
you should have looked up who PJ Harvey is buying the tickets. She's a brilliant singer. Key on the she. Yeah.
Also, he's such a dick to Paris as well. And,
Yeah.
I like Paris. Like, it's so annoying that the friendship that she has with Rory keeps getting not even sabotaged, just, like, broken in stupid
They've
ways
got
that's
to
no
end
one's
up
fault.
as friends though. Like they have to
Oh, God, I
eventually
hope
just
so.
cut through the bullshit and be like, oh, we should be friends.
I love Paris.
She's so good.
She has like a real serious case of RBF though.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love when Paris comes over to get help for like dressing for the date.
Yeah.
And my other possibly my favorite Paris moment in this is when they're at the Bangles concert.
Yeah.
And you see her like, and she's like, this is the best night I've ever had. And it's like, she has these quote unquote friends who are willing to leave her behind for Brandon Routh and his friend. And which I was like, hey, that's Brandon Routh. Every time I rewatch,
had the exact same reaction.
I don't know who that is.
He played Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and now he's in like DC's Legends of Tomorrow or something like that.
Yeah, he was in Scott Pilgrim as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which every time I watch this show, there's always like somebody else that I'm like, hey, like every time in the hospital episode, I'm like, Jane Lynch.
Yeah.
I saw her and was like, oh, to be fair, for someone that doesn't know many actors and actresses, like, I was surprised by the amount of people I saw in this. Like the fact that Dean is Sam Winchester from Supernatural.
Yes.
But like super young, and I was like, what the hell?
I love that Sean Gunn just appears as like in season 1. I don't know if it's going to change, but he's pretty much a background character.
Oh my god, Kirk.
He's so good.
He's just there for the jokes.
Oh, he's brilliant. The scene when they're trying to watch a movie and he's just sat behind them, like telling them to quiet down.
And then the Nickelodeon song plays.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, his cell phone. I also love when Rory calls him daddy when they're playing 1, 2, 3.
Yes, that's also great.
Okay, sorry, this is like going forward, but is there any way like I can check in with you guys as you watch each season? Because I would love to like check in every now and then with you just to hear like your reactions to each season.
Yeah, I'm sure
we need to do like we'll do like an extra bit to housekeeping that is Amanda checking in on how we are with Gilmore Girls.
I would totally do that.
So let's just cycle back to the whole Dean and Rory thing.
Yes.
Jack's wrong. Right. So I tweeted you saying that me and Jack had already had an argument about
Yes.
it.
What is this argument?
Right. It is all centered around that episode, which is the 3-month anniversary, and then their breakup. Okay.
Okay.
I
think me and Jack watched different episodes, basically.
I think you're going to misrepresent what I said.
No, I'm not going to say what you said. I'm going to let you say what you said. I'm just going to say the episode I watched, what I saw, is I saw Dean, who took Rory out for a meal that he paid for. It was lovely, romantic, and totally acceptable thing to do on a 3-month anniversary. Then I saw him take her to a car that he was building for her, which, you know, fair enough, young love, he has a lot of time on his hands, whatever. But then, after being like, here's all these things I've done for you, oh, by the way, I love you, and then after kind of being put on the spot like that, and also what looked to me as if like almost trying to buy her love, when she kind of froze and didn't quite know how to respond and didn't want to kind of respond to knee-jerky or whatever, he just completely flipped and was an absolute dick. And that's when I got off the Rory and Dean train, because I just, she's too good for him.
I disagree, because I don't think that he was trying to buy her love. It didn't feel to me like he'd planned to say I love you to her. It felt like a spur of the moment, like they're having this beautiful evening. Shut up! I let you make your point, you shut your damn mouth. So I don't think it was that. I also don't think that Rory didn't want to say it because she didn't want a knee-jerk reaction. I don't think Rory could say it because she's terrified of commitment, which they then talk about later, Liam, so you can go fuck yourself, I'm right.
They talk about that in the very last episode, and I was so disappointed when they did, because I was like, oh good, this is just more fuel for Jack's fire. Doesn't mean you're right.
Exactly. It does mean I'm right.
No, it doesn't.
No. So my whole point was, I think we agree on the fact that they were both, like, I said after that, I get why they both did each thing. I think that's the thing. You don't agree with what Dean did, but I can see
he reacted so
both
badly
sides
to
of
that.
it. He did, but so did Rory, because instead of being like, oh, this is too soon, you know, whatever, just anything, she just freezes and is like, I don't
but you
want to
won't.
say that to you.
Okay,
I
she
almost feel like
she freezes.
Amanda's making a point.
She freezes, but she also says, like, that's a really big thing to say, and he freaks out.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, my feelings on that kind of straddle both of your points. Like, I don't think he's trying to buy her love. I think he's 16 and just, like, puppy dog in love.
Yeah.
And I do think, like, his I love you is a genuine, like, moment. However, I think his reaction to her not saying it back instantly, and because he's like, you can't even say you love me, it's like, okay, first of all, that's the kind of argument you have when someone has said it and then refuses to say it later. Like, that's where you go, you can't even say you love me. Or if it's like, you will only say it in private, but if it's in front of family members, you won't say it. That is when that's a valid argument in a relationship. But at 3 months, when you're 16 and you're saying I love you for the first time, and she just is sort of like overwhelmed, and if you know Rory at all, I mean, come on, you kissed her and she said thank you and ran away with cornstarch. So you know, like, stole cornstarch.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's going to take her time. Like, it took him going, like, I'm going to back off because I don't think you're interested in me, and her being like, no, wait, I am. So yeah, she takes time to process stuff, and then him just, like, flipping out and, like, why can't you even say this? And then that, like, causing him to break up with her. I feel like it is a wild overreaction to her reaction.
Do you want to know the funny thing, Amanda?
Sure.
When me and Liam had this argument and fell out, I think both of us, I think I said to Liam, well, Amanda's probably going to come in and take the middle ground and tell us that we're both wrong. And Liam went, most likely, yes.
Also, I want to just be clear, like, I'm not saying he was deliberately trying to buy her love. I'm just saying I could see, like, if I was in her kind of shoes, it might make me feel like that.
I don't think that is what she says. Like, being reasonable and not overreacting as I want to do. I genuinely don't think that that's what her issue was with that.
No.
But I mean, I can see your point of, like, feeling that way. I mean, she also, you know, like, at her birthday party earlier on in the season, she's dealt with, like, her grandparents trying to essentially, like, buy her love by throwing this giant party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a valid thing, like, in her world, that is a thing that has happened in her life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just, they're just not right for each other, and he needs to
Oh, no,
off.
they're probably not going to end up with each other.
They shouldn't. They really shouldn't.
I mean, I think Dean, that early on in this season, he makes for, like, a very, for the most part, like, very good, sweet first boyfriend. But I do think that he has some anger issues.
Yeah.
Because you see the way, like, he reacts with Tristan at the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he threatens to kill him.
Yes. Which, again, it's like, oh, like, he's being sweet with Rory at the dance, but also, like, his reluctance to go to the dance at all is a little like, hey, man, come on now. Like, you guys are fucking 16. Like, of course there's going to be dances. And then, so you have his sort of, like, you know, oh yeah, I'm so into you, Rory, and, like, I've watched you read books and everything, but as soon as you ask me to do something that's not in my world in Stars Hollow, I'm a little weird about it. And then I get mad at Tristan. And then I also feel like the Donna Reed episode, like, I think it's fun, and I like that you learn the stuff about, like, Donna Reed, like, being sort of a pioneer in television history and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like part of that is, like, Amy Sherman Palladino, the creator of Gilmore Girls, sort of being like, hey, look, like, women are in television and can create television and have, like, major parts in, you know, this creative world. But also, I feel like he has some very antiquated views on women.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the episode where I was like, oh, okay, Dean's not the greatest guy in the world, was that episode.
My favourite thing about that episode,
is
though...
broken.
Yeah. like he's a dick in the episode, but my favourite thing is when Lorelai sees Rory all dressed up.
Yes.
That's just love that bit so much.
I like how you see both guys taking the trash out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Yeah, all of the interactions with Luke and Dean are fun. Whether it's like that or, yeah, like you said, the brawl in the street, but also like that they're on some sort of like softball league together. Like, it's just...
Yes.
I just love it.
Yeah, no, any scene with Luke in it is a great scene.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think about the pissing match between Luke and Max in like
That was a bit uncomfortable.
that final episode?
I only found it uncomfortable because I so badly want Luke to end up with Lorelai that I was like, get the fuck out of here, Max. I wish that scene had been, he sees Luke and just goes, oh, I'm leaving forever.
But here's the thing, right? Like, yeah, that's how it should be, but I feel like Luke came across really badly to Lorelai in that scene as well.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
she
no,
was
definitely.
not impressed. So I felt sad because I was like, well, no, you're kind of, this isn't helping you. Stop.
Yeah, but it's because Rachel had just literally like broken up with him because she was like, you clearly love Lorelai.
I know,
Go
and
get
he
her,
needs to
champ.
realise that. Like, why does he keep denying it?
He didn't. I think that end like stuff with him is him being like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. I do like Lorelai, and then he sees her with Max, and that's why he gets into the pissing match because he's like, oh, he's just realised, yeah, actually maybe I do want to be with Lorelai, just as she's got back with Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
I think that's part of why he's going over there.
Yeah, it took him so long to come to that realisation.
They're both as bad as each other though. Like there are so many scenes in that where they are doing things that you're like, oh, you two are like obviously meant to be together.
Yeah,
and
like the
neither of you
scene
fucking
where
realise.
she goes to his at night and they're playing cards, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll have to kind of resume this game later."
Yeah.
That, or like the fact that she wants to kind of help him redecorate and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yep.
The painting when they're on the floor behind the counter and they
Yeah.
both look out at like the people out, outside trying to take pictures, stupid
Yeah.
Taylor, and like he's just such a freaking busybody, but like, them peeking around, and it's like, oh my god, it's totally that like rom-com, like, oh, they're so adorable, and then of course they like look at each other and like, I gotta go. You're like, no, kiss, kiss, kiss.
And then bone on the counter.
Well,
Can we talk about, like, is it Max Medinas? Is that, yeah,
Yeah, Max Medina.
Max Medina, that's it. So we talked about, like, Rory and Dean. What do we think about Lorelai and her relationships?
Well, I mean,
go on, Randy.
no, I was gonna say, because I mean, we've talked a bit about Lorelai and Luke, but you have Lorelai and Max, and also Lorelai and Christopher in this
Yes,
season.
Exactly, yeah. I was surprised when she had the sex with Christopher.
Yeah.
It seemed very unlike her to just be like, let's bone on my parents' balcony.
Even though they said
Well-
this is the balcony where Rory was conceived.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was going to say,
it's like-
it seems very like her, seeing as that is what she did.
Yeah, no, but like, you would have thought, right, yeah, that's what she did 16 years ago. You would have thought maybe she'd have kind of progressed in those 16 years to maybe not doing that.
No, but she has, because then she has the scene where she's talking to Rory about Christopher, and she's like, or when he tries to propose to her, and she's like, no,
Yeah.
you're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the part of her that's grown. Like, Lorelai isn't mature in every aspect.
No, she's
No,
not.
no,
She's
no.
mature in the fact that she's like a really good mum and genuinely knows how to like look out for herself and her family, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, she's learned to protect herself from the bad stuff like that, but she still makes stupid mistakes, like, not making out with Luke, but making out with Max.
Like, I don't mind Max as a character, and I
He's just not as good as Luke.
exactly, that's the thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like, with Rory and Dean, I 100% do not want them together. Lorelai and Max, I'm okay with, if it wasn't for the fact that Luke is there and would be so much better.
Yeah. Well, I was watching some episodes last night with my mother-in-law, because she also loves Gilmore Girls, and she knew I was like watching this to talk about it with you guys today, and she just kept like staying up later with me because she'd get sucked in. And I forget which episode it was, but it was something with Lorelai and Luke, and both of us were just like, oh, they're just so perfect for each other. Like,
Yeah.
they're so perfect for each other. And yeah, that's the thing with Max is I like him as a character, and I like Scott Cohen as like the actor who plays him. He's
Yeah.
in one of my like all-time favorite mini series. He plays Wolf in The 10th Kingdom.
Okay.
Oh, does he? Oh shit! I love the 10th Kingdom.
You do? Oh my
Yeah,
god!
I used to watch that all the time.
I have the DVD and I love that so much. Sorry.
Such a good show.
Sorry, Liam. I'm gonna nerd out for a minute. Yeah, he plays
Go
Wolf.
for it.
He plays Wolf in that, which is
Oh, shit.
first saw him in the 10th Kingdom because I didn't start watching Gilmore Girls until it was in like its 5th or 6th season, and then I like binged it all
Yeah.
and like caught up. But so when he showed up in season 1, I was like, oh, it's Wolf. Oh my god. And so yeah, like I think he's a good character, and I think he's like really trying, like with Rory too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, you have to admit, when Rory's dealing with the breakup and she's gone to the party, the Chilton party, and Lorelai goes over to Max's, and when they are like, he's like, okay, you sit there and I'll sit here and we'll talk. And then he's just like, screw it, and he knocks that table over.
Yeah.
That is hot.
I mean, that wasn't my take on the scene, but I can see why you would think that.
Or you're just like, this should be Luke.
Yeah.
I mean,
If Luke was more assertive like that, I think Lorelai would be all about it.
yeah.
I mean, the weird thing with the Max character is that, like, he's done that the same thing that Christopher was trying to do with the whole, like, oh, we keep making mistakes and falling out and arguing, so the solution is we should get married. And I was like, no, what? That's fucking weird.
No, that's
That is a weird thing.
That is because yeah, hers is like, well, then we break up, which is like the logical
Yeah.
way to handle that. Not
And he's like, no, we need to get married. Oh, no, you don't.
because
Like, I was kind of almost disappointed when he sends the like 1,000 daisies, is it?
Yep, 1,000 yellow daisies.
Yeah, and then she just like loves that, and I was like, no, don't stop. He's not right for you. He's not Luke.
I think part of it is it's such a grand gesture, and that he listened and then followed through on something that was just, you know, one of her like Lorelai bit rants where she's just like, you know, it should be this and this and this and this, and then he like actually does it, which fun production note, because I've of course watched like all the extra features on the DVDs that I own.
Of course.
Because I do own them all, and I sometimes watch the DVDs and sometimes watch it on Netflix. It just depends on my mood. And they had to get way more than 1,000 yellow daisies for that scene in the inn, because apparently daisies are a very small flower. So when you just put 1,000 together, it only fills up like a table. And so they were like, you know, saying it's 1,000 yellow daisies, and like the line that Kirk says, like, no less, no more, that's exactly it. Like, it's a very grand gesture and like a beautiful thing, but for production design, they needed it to look like an overwhelming amount of daisies.
Yeah.
So there's way more than 1,000. It's like 20,000 or something. But yeah, I think it's more of like the big grand gesture, and that he listened to her. Not
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I couldn't, as much as I think Luke and Lorelai should be together, I couldn't see Luke doing something like that.
No, because he'd do something that was like...
He'd like fix her
Actually-
house.
Yeah.
That's really sweet that he keeps doing that.
I mean, it was, but also when you realise it was because he was avoiding Rachel, it becomes a little less sweet.
Slightly, yes.
Yeah.
I will concede that.
But he's also then spending time with the person he truly loves.
That is true.
Yeah.
So, for characters that I was less fond of, I didn't really... I liked what they were doing in establishing the town, but Miss Patty and who's the other character that just kind of pops up as like their neighbour?
Yes.
Shit.
Played by Sally Struthers.
Yeah.
What's her
I
name?
didn't mind them, but I wasn't like... I don't know, I don't quite get them yet, I don't think.
I think the neighbour is... I'm more on board with the neighbour than Miss Patty. Like, I like Miss Patty, but some of her character things they're doing, I'm a bit like, oh, okay, it's...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Miss Patty, I will agree, she gets on my nerves sometimes. Like,
I think she works like the amount they use her. Please, I don't use her anymore. But equally,
yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing with her.
because I think she was supposed to be a main character at first, like
Yeah.
Miss Patty. Like, guys, I know she was in a lot of like the production shots for the season 1 to start out.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, like, it's still, every time I watch it, when she says the thing about like, oh, I'm one of Rory's mothers, so it's like, I'm
Yeah.
your wife, Christopher. I'm just like, oh, Miss Patty, gross.
Yeah, that bit was weird.
Yeah, but so Sally Struthers as Babette, I have a soft spot for Babette, and how she's
Yeah.
always calling people sugar and things like
Yeah.
that. I just love it.
I did like the episode with their, is it kitten or cat?
Their
I can't remember.
cat, Cinnamon's Wake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like, I don't mind them. I'm just not as crazy for them as I am with some of the other characters.
Okay. I mean, I get that. They're more side characters.
Yeah.
What about Lane?
Lane's the one that I think both me and Jack have like almost like the biggest issue with.
Yeah.
In that I feel like she's Korean, we get it. That doesn't have to be mentioned every time we see her.
It's not... So, my issue with it is this show feels like it does a really good job of not stereotyping people and falling into those... Like, the fact that you've got a single mother raising a single daughter, and instead of them being like, oh, and it's all fucked up and they don't know what they're doing, it's like, no, Lorelai's got this really good job and Rory's turned out great and is one of the smartest kids. And then you go to Lane and it's like, she's the stereotypical Korean kid that doesn't want to be with the strict Korean parents.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I can see that as a criticism. I love Lane, but I think part of that could also be more from later seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sort of assuming the fact... I'm hoping it'll... Like, it's not even like that big an issue. Like, when I look at how much I love this show, it's not like every time Lane comes on screen, I'm like,
I think
oh
it's just
my
like,
goodness.
of all the characters that have, like, if you split up the screen time that all the characters get, she probably is the character that I like the least with the most screen time, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, I like her friendship with Rory. I just feel like they need to move away from the, like, Korean gag, because I just think it's overplayed already.
Okay. I mean, I think part of it is her mother being a very strict mother, and having that like strict religious thing with the 7-Day Adventist is definitely key to her character. So I don't know. I'll just be interested to see what you guys think about Lane as like time goes on with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like as well, like a lot of the characters, even side characters, they develop somewhat, whereas Lane, I don't think after a season, I'm really seeing a lot of different sides to her that you didn't see in maybe the first couple of episodes.
Yeah, I think that's fair with season 1. My favorite moment of hers is when Rory goes to get a CD and you see all of her hidden floorboard CDs.
Yeah, yeah.
I think my favourite moment with her is when Rory asks her to go into the shop to figure out if Dean's still there, and she's like, oh, what, so you can make on that little list that you don't think I know about what days you can go in.
Yeah.
I like the scene where she, where her mum's like grounded her, and then Rory and her meet outside the house, and she's like, oh, you've been allowed out, and she's like, oh, well, I'm allowed to come up to the sign, and then looks at the sign and is like, oh no, and steps back.
Yeah, when she's like shocked that she got that close to the sign.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great little bit of acting. Yeah.
So is there anything that anyone like didn't really like about the show?
Lorelai and Luke didn't end up together in season 1.
Yeah.
I have a small criticism that I think it's in episode 3 that Richard is talking about Lorelai the Third, and he's talking about her in the past tense. And it's just a small little like continuity thing that I feel like maybe they didn't realize they were actually going to get like the character of Trix on.
Yeah. Who was a great character.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Marion, I think it's Marion Davies who plays her, like, is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that's like my only, like, I guess, big critique is particularly, I think it was episode 3 that, like, even the directing in that episode, like, you know, and granted, I've seen the whole series multiple times, but
Yeah.
it feels like the director on that one, who was actually, I thought it was interesting, was Adam Nimoy, as in, like, Leonard Nimoy's son.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And I feel like he was doing something that just doesn't fit in with the rest of the series. With his direction of, like, the dinner scene at the Gilmore house. Like, with Emily and Richard. It's like, the lighting's just a little off. And, like, how tight, like, close up the shots are. It doesn't fit with the rest of the dinner scenes from the series. Even, like, the episodes before and then the episodes after. I know that probably sounds like so, like, nitpicky and weird.
No, I no, that's fine. I can't say I noticed it when I first watched it, but I wonder, like, if I was to go back, if I'd pick up on it.
Yeah.
Now, because I guess 3 episodes in, I wasn't quite used to the way it was being filmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, by episode 3, you're not as used to it.
Yeah.
But
because I actually quite liked episode 3 just for the way it did develop that relationship between Rory and her granddad.
Oh, yeah. All of that part is great. The only
Yeah.
thing that, like, yeah, it's like some of the way direction-wise it's filmed and, like, that past tense about Lorelai the Third. But I love the golf outing between
Yeah.
Richard and Rory.
And when he's, like, showing her off to his friends.
Yeah, and her little golf hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Yeah, and I think there's some great, like, comedic bits in that episode too, like with, you know, even like Lorelai dealing with things at the inn, and that's when you get like Kirk with the swans and things like that, which I think is maybe the first time Kirk is actually Kirk in the show.
Yeah.
Because
he appears, but he's not named, is he?
Yeah, he appears in one of the earlier episodes and is given a different name. I think they call him Mick. It's one of those, like, trivia things. I should say I've gone to a local Gilmore Girls trivia night and won first place with my friend Andrea.
Wow. That's impressive.
One of my college roommates. She and I went and we called our team the Rorys and we won. And we got a little trophy and everything. But but yeah, funny about that, they forgot to put the Gilmore Girls label on it, and so it says Mad Men instead.
Oh, right.
But
I'm surprised that
Yeah.
Suki hasn't been brought up yet.
yeah, that's true. She's like the biggest star of the whole show now.
Yeah. But how did that happen?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. It's just, considering she's not playing a main character, you know, it seems weird to me that someone who played a side character has gone on to do huge things.
Well,
Not a bad thing. I'm just...
I think it's because Melissa McCarthy, her big breakthrough, as far as like movies wise, was Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
But I love her as Suki. What do you guys think about
Yeah.
Suki?
Yeah,
I really like Suki.
Yeah, I haven't been like a huge fan of when I've seen her in movies. I like the stuff she's done on Saturday Night Live recently. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was almost surprised at how much I liked her in this, because she seems to play a very different type of role to what you see her do in the movies.
Yes.
Although I think the first episode, I was concerned that they were going to really play up that whole she's a klutz, she's really clumsy, she trips over a lot, that angle. It's real, I don't know, it's kind of too broad in the first episode, and I'm pleased that they drop or like mostly drop that aspect of her going forward.
Yeah, I think that's a fair critique of that. She was not originally supposed to be Suki. The woman who plays Drella, the harp player.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let me double check her name. Alex Borstein, and she does a voice for Family Guy.
Okay.
And she like couldn't, get out of that. She voices the mom, Lois, in Family Guy. So like timing and schedule wise, because I think she was also doing Mad TV, like she couldn't do Gilmore Girls, so they like had her play Drella in a few episodes, but she was originally supposed to be Suki.
Okay.
And so I wonder if part of that was kind of left over from like the original idea of the character or something, like the super clumsiness or whatever. But I love like the development with Suki and Jackson throughout the first season.
Oh god, they're so
Yeah.
great together.
They are good.
One of my
Also, no, go on, Amanda.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I love when she's chasing him down the street.
Yeah. What's his cousin called?
Rune.
Rune. He's great. I'm so pleased that he came back for another episode, just because.
That whole episode where he's just insulting Lorelai in the weirdest fucking ways.
Yeah.
She's
It's
He's just
brilliant.
like, oh god, she's so tall. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And you're like,
he's
what?
he's like, what size shoe do you wear?
And he like says something about like she'd have to use a lot of powder to fix her nose and things like that.
Yeah. She goes, oh, can we just go powder our noses?
It's so good.
Oh my god.
It's just such a weird...
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
it's
just so like, cause, like Lauren Graham is brilliant and beautiful, and for someone to just come in and just be so mean about like her appearance is hilarious.
And that he's just like, even when he's like, Jackson, I want to go bowling. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, you were the worst.
Yeah. He's just a horrible person.
Oh, Rune.
We had some correspondence about Gilmore Girls that I want to get to because I want to discuss it. I want to have time to discuss it properly. So,
Okay.
Cage Club Pod, who,
God. I saw this
who,
one.
yeah, who they like host the Zack Attack show. Like their network hosts that and other shows about Nicolas Cage and stuff. Anyway, they tweeted saying, "How much better would Gilmore Girls be if Zac Efron played Alexis Bledell's love interest?" Now, I think we all know my answer. So I'm going to throw it to you guys. Because bear in mind, we're talking about like 2000 Zac Efron.
Okay, so I think we also had some correspondence from Kat Lim.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Let's just do this one first. You haven't answered the question yet.
I'm worried, mate, that you're wanting this to be more than it's going to be, and I don't want to disappoint you like that.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm worried that you think this is going to be a really big discussion. What with the whole like, oh, I wanted to leave enough discussion for this.
No, I want to leave enough for the
And-
cat bit.
Oh, okay.
I'm covering this
fine.
first.
It wouldn't be that good.
I mean, so Zac Efron, fun fact, was born the same year as me. He's only like, hang on. He's 2 months and 3 days older than I am. So that's a fun fact.
So he would have been what, like 13 in 2000 or something?
Exactly. So I don't see that working brilliantly.
Nope, there you go. That's fair.
But I just imagine if Zac Efron had a pit. Okay, here's how I'd have included him. I thought Dean's little sister was amazing. He could kind of do something with her, I think.
So he would be the love interest for Dean's little sister.
Yeah.
That would
And,
make more
imagine,
sense.
like, they have like this perfect relationship, and they're just constantly like, why can't these guys just figure their shit out? Then we had an email from Kat.
Go on.
Oh, so bit of context. Every time I put Gilmore Girls on, Kat would roll her eyes and sigh loudly, and then half watch the entire episode. And she'd sometimes make snide little comments. Sometimes she'd laugh. Sometimes she was getting into it, but she'd never admit that. Her email begins, "Here's my issues with Gilmore Girls." It's a 5-point email. If we go through, we can discuss each point one at a time.
Okay.
Point number 1. The dialogue is not at all natural, even a bit. They talk a million miles an hour, much worse than Dawson's Creek, Liam. Because every time she's complained about this to me, I've gone, you like Dawson's Creek, and they talk so much worse than in this.
My defense is that's how I talk with my family.
So there we go then.
It's-
I can't argue with that,
It's
Kat.
all pop culture references constantly, and if someone doesn't get it, we mock the other one.
I personally had no issue with the dialogue and thought it was brilliant, and I didn't necessarily think it was not natural. Jack?
I can sort of see what Kat means, like, in the context of Lorelai being so quick with her witty responses to things.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think it's an issue. Like, it's a comedy, drama-y TV show.
Okay. This next one is gonna... I can't wait to hear Amanda's reaction to this next point that Kat has. Number 2. What sort of mum sleeps with her daughter's teacher, though? Lorelai is a terrible mother, to be honest, and leans way too much on Rory.
Okay. My mom never slept with one of my teachers. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah, that's what that sounded like you were saying there, Liam. Can I just...
No. I was curious for Amanda's reaction, just because I feel like she's going to have the most impassioned defense.
I think Lorelai's a great mom. Part of it is she reminds me a lot of my mom. Like, the age difference between us is not 16 years, but it's only 19 years. And,
Okay.
I mean, a lot of the mother-daughter moments feel incredibly genuine to me.
Yeah.
And even sometimes the silly spats like, if you wear my sweater, you'll stretch it out because your boobs are
Yeah.
bigger, may have had similar discussions with my mom in high school. So, I don't know. To me, Lorelai, yes, she can be immature and
Yeah.
a bit selfish, but I don't think, to me, like, I think she's a great mom, and I don't think she's a perfect person, but, you know, I guess the way that she does rely on Rory, I guess you could see as dysfunctional, but I guess I have a dysfunctional family, and I don't think it's to the point of, like, codependency, but...
No. Oh, I don't know. There's definitely moments, like, when Rory's like, so what are you going to do when I come to college? It's like, I'm just going to come with you and sleep on your floor, obviously.
Yeah, no, but she's joking, Liam.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that, Jack. But I'm just saying...
well, you say that, Liam, like you haven't said weird stuff before because you don't understand how humans think.
Whatever. It's not codependency necessarily, but I do think that she's going to struggle without Rory.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, you know, when that's your person for so long, and yes, you're the mother,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And she has, like, sacrificed a lot, where she's like, I put all my dating and stuff aside so I could just focus on the mother thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, did anyone else have issues with the fact that Lorelai got with her daughter's teacher?
So it would be a weird thing if it was like super planned out,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's like a spur of the moment thing, and I don't think Lorelai's like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to sleep with him. Like,
Yeah.
I think she regrets it, like, initially.
I think it's more for him, like that, like he's jeopardizing his career, but it's kind of he's made that choice, so it's I put it on him.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one that pursues her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, she knows it's
go on.
inappropriate, and they bring it up and talk about it several times throughout this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he even gets like disciplined, doesn't he, for it at one point?
Yeah, Headmaster
Yeah.
Charleston brings him in and chews him out. I
Yeah.
mean, off screen, but you hear about the aftermath.
Exactly. Love the scene when Lorelai has a go at the headmaster.
Yes.
That's so good. Point number 3. Chad Michael Murray's character development is confusing. One minute he's a prick, the next you're supposed to feel sorry for him, and then, oh no, he's a prick again.
Who is that?
Tristan.
Oh, okay. I don't think you're ever meant to feel sorry for him. I think you're meant to
no,
understand part of
The
him.
scene where he breaks up with Summer, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think you're meant to feel sorry for him. I think you're meant to just have a bit of empathy towards him, where you're like, this dude's only goal in life appears to be to bone down with everyone.
Relatable.
For you. And then, like, he has this moment where something genuine happens to him, where he feels genuinely hurt that a girl's left him. I don't think you're meant to feel sorry. I think
Quite
you're meant to be like,
publicly as
oh, okay,
well.
I get it.
Yeah.
I think part of the thing is that he's a dick, and
Yeah.
he tries to play the nice guy to win over Rory
Yeah.
because he sees that, like, that's what she liked about Dean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's all pretense because he's actually a dick.
Yeah.
And so to me, he just is a dick, and it's all an act for him to try to win over Rory. And then when he gets tired of it, he's like, PJ Harvey tickets.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've got to bear in mind that these criticisms are coming from someone who has only half watched maybe half of the season.
That's fine, though. You're allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah, and
You are, but it's also allowed to be wrong.
Yeah.
I like you, Kat, and I understand if you don't like the show. It's still my favorite show.
Yeah. Point number 4. why don't Lorelai and Luke just get together? Their BS is boring, which I don't think it's boring at all. I do agree they should get together.
The sentiment behind the point I agree with. I want them to just get together.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the second part, not so much.
No. And then point number 5, despite my impassioned points, this show is dumb.
Well, that one I disagree with.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I think that point is dumb.
Very good, Liam.
Thank you. And then here's my question about Gilmore Girls. And I kind of agreed with her on this question until the last episode, where it's actually addressed in the show. So Kat asks, who the hell is the exposition guy who sings and plays guitar? I'm surprised he hasn't dated Lorelai.
I love the troubadour so much.
Right, so he just appears like midway through the season, right? With no kind of explanation. He just shows up and starts singing.
Yeah.
And until the last episode, I was like, I don't get what they're doing with this guy. And then the fact that they address it in the town hall, and you also have Dave Gruber Allen, who plays the second troubadour, who I obviously love from Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
That to me just kind of excused the troubadour guy being in all of the other stuff. Like I was like, it's fine, I'm cool with it. I like that they're calling it out. I like what they've done with that.
Yeah, I love Grant Lee Phillips and the troubadour, and yeah, I love that in the world of Gilmore Girls, like stuff like that happens, and it's part of the charm of Stars Hollow.
Yeah,
and its quirkiness.
I really want to go to Stars Hollow and just live there. Mm-hmm. Like, so is there anywhere where this is kind of based off of that I can go to and move in?
I mean, it's based in Connecticut.
Okay.
And I'll admit, when I was driving through Connecticut for the first time ever a couple of years ago with my husband, every exit we drove by, I was like, that could be where Stars Hollow is based on. And I am misremembering right now. I know it's like loosely based on like a town that Amy Sherman Palladino and her husband like visited in Connecticut, but I don't know, I can't remember if like the name of the town has been released that they based it on. I think it was just more of like they had this idea and then they liked sort of like this idea of a quirky town. You know, they had the idea of like the mother-daughter thing and then the idea of the quirky town. And I know when the new series was coming out, like the Year in a Life, they created Stars Hollow in Hollywood that people could go and visit for a little while, like as promotional stuff.
Okay, but you couldn't move in there.
No, you couldn't move in there.
Liam?
Yeah.
I don't want you to get your hopes up, buddy, because it's already difficult enough for you to find a place to live. You're not going to find a Stars Hollow.
Well, not in this shit country, no.
Okay, well, I don't think you're going to find one anywhere.
Well, no, because I was saying that it would be really fun if me and Jack moved to Stars Hollow, like, whatever, like the real Stars Hollow together, because I could see that as being, like, either the start of a sitcom, where it's like, oh, you know, this quirky couple kind of move in and shake things up.
Sorry, this quirky couple?
Yeah, you know, couple of guys.
Right, okay, be clearer.
Or it could be like a good episode where it's like, oh, who are they who's just moved in? Let's go find out.
Jesus, Liam.
No? You're not down with that
Sort
idea?
your life out.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Good.
It was just a thought.
No, because you want to move there as well, right?
I would, yeah, but it's not real.
You know, but it's got to be based on something that's real.
That doesn't... Yeah, but it's not going to be what you're picturing.
What am I picturing?
You're picturing Stars Hollow.
Yep.
It'll be a place that it was based on, and you'll go there, and it'll be just the same bullshit you get everywhere else.
Luke won't be there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sure, Liam.
Has anyone got anything else to say about Gilmore Girls Season 1?
I love it.
No, yeah, it's great.
What would we all give it out of 5? I think Amanda, I'm going to guess, will be a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this earlier today. And I feel like maybe like 4 3/4 out of 5. Because I do love this first season, but it's not my favorite season of the show.
Okay. So for us who haven't watched it yet, we've got better seasons to go. Is there any like you know like Buffy? There was a season where it didn't quite work what they were trying to do.
Yes.
Does this suffer from any of that?
There is a season that is like that.
Okay.
And do you want me to tell you which season it is, or do you want to wait until you watch more?
Let's wait and see if we can figure it out. When we like catching up with you, and you're kind of finding out what we think. We'll see if we just discover it together.
Okay. Yeah, because it had much more to do with creative things behind the scenes, I think.
Oh, was it when
okay.
the writer's strike was happening? Or
No.
was that after this had finished?
That was just after this finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll see if we can spot that then. Jack, at 5?
4.5.
And I would agree with that.
Yeah. Because
We agree.
it's great,
Yay.
but you do have better seasons coming.
Cool.
Awesome.
I mean, that's good because this was an amazing season. So
Yeah. Next time. What are we doing next time?
Next time it's gonna be our Halloween episode. Ooh,
spooky.
So we're doing The Conjuring.
Yay! I've seen it before.
Have you?
Yeah.
I have not.
I've done a sequel to it.
The Conjuring 2, Too
Yeah.
Fast, Too Furious.
I haven't seen that one yet. Oh, speaking of Fast and Furious, I think I mentioned this earlier when Amanda mentioned it, but I forgot. Have you heard the latest news about Fast and Furious?
The fact they're doing a live show.
No, that's not news. That's been out for ages.
Oh, okay.
It's
Sorry.
coming to the UK in like January, I think, is when it starts.
Yeah, they keep advertising it at the cinema.
Yeah, I want to go, but I've got no one to go with.
Yep, I'm not going with
Vin
you.
Diesel filmed like a special little part for the live show.
Oh wow. What's the news?
So a release date for Fast and Furious 9 has been announced, and it's going to come out in 2020. And the reason why it's coming out a year later than what was expected is because the year before that, so 2019, we're getting a spin-off with The Rock and Jason Statham.
Yes!
And
Yes!
Tyrese is livid.
Well, sorry, Tyrese. You can calm down. This is all you have.
Yep. I'm very excited.
I agreed with all of your conversation about that recently with the guys from the Zack Attack, by the way.
Well, that's good. I mean, I feel like Jack didn't have a lot to say on that conversation.
I don't
because
watch Fast and the Furious.
He's an idiot that doesn't watch the Fast and
They're
Furious.
ridiculous, and the first 3 movies are not good, but then they get better.
I like Tokyo Drift.
That's the third one.
I like that one.
I didn't mind it. The second one's my least favourite.
Yeah, it's bad.
So yeah, The Conjuring next. Halloween, spooky. We did that. Tick. Any final thoughts?
What number are you on?
What was it last time?
Just loading it up now, Liam. Oh, not on the Nerd on Nerd account. That's annoying. The number last time was... It was... I should have got this up earlier.
Yep.
Oh, need to sign out of all my other Google accounts. So that I
Oh,
can
the
open it.
anticipation.
Thanks, Google. Do I have to retype the password in?
Oh, for
No,
fuck's
it's remembered
sake.
it. Good. Oh, choose an account to use with Google Drive. Yep, the Nerd on the Nerd one. That would make sense. The number last time, Liam, was
Yep.
1,116.
1,103.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And bear in
doing
mind,
it,
I
buddy.
watched Flatliners as well, which was digital, so that didn't count. And I watched 2 movies on Netflix, so those also don't count. So it's been good for movie watching these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, you're doing all right.
That's impressive.
Thank you very much. I still think if I really try, I can maybe get below 1,000 by the end of the year.
I think you probably can. I want you to.
Yeah.
Well, it would be nice, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah, there's a Criterion sale in November.
I can't. I can't afford it.
Okay, good. Sorry.
He's learning, Amanda.
I know, it's May and November every year, so...
Yeah, I spent too much in the May one, I think.
Final thoughts. Oh, no. What? We don't do final thoughts. You confused me by saying that. Amanda,
Yes.
how can people get in contact with you?
Oh, yeah, that. Well, my personal Twitter is at Manda Ailey, and then I have 2 podcasts that I run, Amanda's Picture Show A Go-Go and Culture Pop A Go-Go. On Twitter, it's at Amanda's Pic Show and at Culture Pop A Go-Go, and then I have a website that encompasses it all, and it's amandaagogo.com. Let me say agogo 5 more times.
So Amanda's, both of her podcasts are really good, and also she actually like does the podcasting thing right and well, in that she has things like websites and stuff like that. So if you want to like see how a podcast should be done, that's a good place to go and find out.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
I wanted to also say thank you so much for having me on again. I love your guys' podcast, and it's always fun when I get to guest on it too.
Well, thank you for coming on, and especially for recommending the Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. Good choice.
Yeah. And if Kat wants to come on again, she can. She just has to come up with something that is as good as, if not better than, Gilmore Girls. So good luck with that one.
I'm sorry, Kat.
Liam, how do people get in contact with us?
Oh, they tweet us. It doesn't matter. They're not going to. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Tweet us at Nerd on Nerd, facebook.com/Nerd on Nerd Pod, all one word. SoundCloud, that exists.
Yeah,
iTunes, go there, review us.
they won't go.
YouTube, you can go look at it. It's a graveyard.
There's no point.
You have an
Thanks,
email.
guys. Oh, email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com.
Don't worry about it. There's no point.
I'm glad Liam's depressed. This is good.
Honestly,
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts is I think we should stop giving out our Twitter and our email and stuff, because the people that are gonna tweet and email
Rate and
us
review them on iTunes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.